What's crazy? That stuff breaks when tech support's not around? Ain't that just standard? Konnichiwa. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's it going? Hello. Hello, hello. Who did I see? I saw Ranger. I saw... Zexu. I saw Tsumaki. Anyone else hiding in here? Drakon. Hello. Hello, hello, everyone. You ready to figure stuff out and push comes to shove? No. Of course I am. I'm the only person under the age of 40 at my workplace. I'm de facto tech support, even though I'm not necessarily great with technology. They just assume I can fix anything. I wish I was joking. You're getting there. I'm getting there. I'm better than the average person, at least. But oh my god. Like, I remember... Oh, I think I told this story. There was a coworker. She's... I want to say, like... I'm trying to think of the math. Like, about 5 or so years older than me. So not a ton, but enough. And she and an older coworker had spent a whole day when I was on vacation trying to figure out why they couldn't get the dual monitor set up to work. Long story short, neither of them thought to check that the cables were plugged in, you know? Like and they're like, oh yeah, Diana will figure it out. Diana's young, she knows what's going on with computers. I'm like, thank you to check the cables. Does it have anything to do with age? Yeah, the fact I knew just instantly, I'm like, is it plugged in? They're like, my laptop's plugged in. I'm like, no, the docking stations. Is it plugged in? Does it have power? Also, did you connect the cables from the monitors to the docking station? And then after all that, she never used the dual monitor. She just forced herself to, like, use the tiny laptop screen. It's like, why? I can really bully you right now, but it's Reiki Loop tonight, so you're in a good mood. What's that? What? You're gonna bully me? 'Cause why? You didn't fail! Let's go! See? It's okay. What'd I tell you? You always think you do worse than you actually do. It's like, it's Murphy's Law. When you think you did great, it's when you failed. When you think you failed, it's when you did okay. Also, hi, Chris. I assume Zexu was gonna bully me because of my perceived age, but that's okay. I'll just get him back. We'll play a game of Werewolf. We'll play Among Us, except it's Among Us for keeps. No one gets out of here now. No, wait. No, it's too late. It's too late. All right, guys. I'm shuffling the deck of roll cards. Don't look at your card, but don't show anyone. How was my day? It was pretty good. It was pretty decent. Got a good amount of stuff done. I'll post a link in the Discord because I found in one of those new productivity games where it's like plays lo-fi and like other stuff for you, but I really like the particular aesthetic of this one. And it's only like $6, so I'll share it if anyone likes that kind of stuff as well. Today was like the briefing for the training for the new job. Nothing solid yet, basically just clarifying what everyone's new roles are gonna be because they changed all our job titles, but it's like we're essentially doing the same thing. Real formal training starts next week. This week it's like wrapping up everything. You ready for it though? Well, as ready as I can be. It's not based on what was presented to me. It's nothing I haven't done before as an apothecarist. So it's not like this. Some of the specifics are gonna be tricky because I have to know how, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not tax law, but like there's like retail sales tax stuff in that. I'm gonna have to learn how that works as part of it. Well, so that'll be exciting, but other than that, everything's stuff I've done before, so it'll be okay. Jambola, hello. But yeah, they were like, oh yeah, and here's the policy manual for RST. And I'm like, what's RST? They're like, retail sales tax? I'm like, that's a thing? For invoicing, you know, I've never been involved in invoicing stuff. I've just paid invoices. Bit of a learning curve, just a bit. But other than that, it's pretty close to the same stuff I'm doing. Like extra, like they're giving me also the role of managing people's shift schedules because I guess now manager's gonna be too busy and we can't just rely on the team leaders to manage everyone's shift schedule, so now it's part of my job. I'm just micromanaging everyone. I'm just the middle manager without the pay. I mean, I'm getting paid well, but it's not as good as an actual middle manager, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, like, yeah, here's, like, you can do the scheduling, and also here's the tracker, and you gotta make sure, like, all of this is done, and here's the purchasing stuff, and it's like, okay. So I'm the accountant, it's a mailroom clerk, the shift organizer, and the media correspondent. Okay, I'm just the jack of all trades, same as always. It's like, do I get a raise? They're like, well, we gave you like a 25-cent raise. It's like, technically you did. This should be more than that, but fine, we'll start there. Oh, a cat showed up to the lab. That's cute. Don't know how they got in. I guess some nearly does more than that. Pretty much, yeah. Well, I mean, when you add it on top of everything else, it can work out to be decent-ish amount extra, but it's like, yeah, once like tax and everything gets factored in, it's like woo! Like, here's what my net pay is, and then here's my take-home pay, and it's like $400 less. It's like, god damn it. Plus, you know, it's good to be in a unionized job, but the downside is you do have to pay union dues, so that is like some money you lose. But on the plus side, the union I'm in literally kicks ass. So, hey! They like frickin' like took an employer to literal court and negotiated a payout covering a period during lockdown because they proved we should have been compensated more than we were. So it's like, oh! So hey, don't knock the unions. Unions are there for good reasons. Too bad there's no union in, how much do I get? I get... Okay, so here's how it kind of works, because there's 2 tiers. There's the regular tier, which, like, everyone qualifies for, and then if you have enough... I'm trying to remember the specific rules. Either you have enough subs or you have enough tier 3 subs, then it switches. So so the standard, it's we get, what is it, 30%? The streamer gets 30%? It might be a little higher, but it's not 50-50. 50-50 is like the partner plus thing, I think. Let me just double check, because it's been a while. I got monetized like 2 years ago, and I haven't really had to look or think of any of that stuff since. Because I'm... In a perfect world, Partner Plus stuff would be nice, but I'm way off from hitting the goals so far, so... Let's see. Yeah, Twitch Partner Plus will pay 70% of subscription revenue to creators. Yeah, I mean, it's really high. Like, you need, like, 300. The equivalent of, like, 300 tier 1 subs for 3 months to get, like, the higher splits and stuff. Oh, yeah, like, some of it's crazy. This is why, I think I had mentioned this before. This is why you see a lot of people, when they get big enough, either start streaming both on Twitch and YouTube or going straight to YouTube. Because YouTube apparently has better payout, but it's harder to meet the threshold. But it's like, once you meet the threshold on Twitch, you will definitely get it on YouTube. So a lot of people will start going to YouTube as well because they'll get better money. We'll push you there. Aw, you guys are sweet. All in good time. You guys have made it so that, you know, we can get a new game every month using the sub money, and I can put like a little bit aside towards like getting new stuff for the stream or new equipment or whatever. a hobby that pays for itself is more than what most people can say. So hey. I'm eternal and never leaving this place. I shall see you grow to the biggest star out there. Ah, you guys are so cute. I appreciate it. Alright, let me just... Where's the game? There's the game. Right, I have to hit start up. I was clicking, like, the button, and I'm like, hello? They make you pick language and then the button. Made with Unity. Yahoo! Here we go. Back to some murder mysteries. I was in Spooky's stream earlier. Stopped at a gas station today for snacks. Be right back. Okay, get those snacks. But yeah, I was in Spooky's stream earlier, and one of her mods was teasing me, and it was like, hey, that cozy game you played recently is mid. I'm like, well, yeah, all I've been playing for the past week are, like, murder mystery games. I don't know. I don't think those qualify as cozy games, so yeah, they would be mid. Sharing perchance. Maybe. Maybe. God, alright. So while Zexu gets their snacks, I will do a recap for anyone who is in here who missed yesterday, not a chance. Womp, 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 womp. Yeah, so we are on day 3, I believe, of the Feast of the Yomi Purge. So far, I guess day 1, quote unquote, so like before the feast really got rolling, 2 journalists passed away horribly. Like, they turned into like a pile of like flesh, like in ground beef. Somehow our boy Haruaki survived, even though he didn't prepare for the feast, which means he should have been taken by the corruption like the journalists. But they decided, it's like, okay, well, we can't kill you because clearly God wants you here, but we don't trust you, so, like, you can't participate in the feast. So we've just been an observer this whole time, and oh, everybody is making so many mistakes. So the gist of it is, this is basically if the game of werewolf was played in real life. 2 of the villagers are quote-unquote wolves, and every night they are able to kill 1 person. Every day the survivors can vote and choose 1 person to hang, and some of the villagers have special roles that will help them figure out who the wolves are through, like, process of elimination. But it's a big freaking mess. Because day 1, the snake, who can discern who the wolves are, outed themselves. So then the spider, who has the ability to protect 1 person from the wolves per day, had to use their power to protect the snake. And so, as a result, one of the elders, Kanzo Makishima, died, and everything's just gone downhill since then. And then day 2, so in the end, after Makishima died, they decided they were going to hang this old man called the Old Man Who Cried Wolf, because he's not really helping out and contributing. And he's like, well, okay, fine, but I want to put my affairs in order and wash up before I die. And they're like, you know what? Fine, that's reasonable, but don't run away. And so, a young boy, like a teenage boy named Mochi who got along well with the old man, went with him to make sure he did run away. And in the end, both the old man and Mochi were found with their stomachs slit open. So we don't know if they were both attacked, if they did, if they both committed suicide, or like, the old man killed Mochi and then killed himself. We don't know yet. So that happened, and then Takumi, who was the snake, ended up dying, and he died horribly. Like, Makishima died pretty bad too, but the dude probably had no idea what happened because his head got crushed into tomato paste. So, I mean, like, a decisive enough blow, you're gone. You're not gonna feel anything. This guy, Takumi, got shot at close range with a hunting rifle, but whoever was doing the job was a terrible shot. They blew off only half his head, and he was still alive. The dude died holding his, like, trying to hold his head together. It's like, they got him in the shoulder, they got him in the chest, they got, like, the wall. It's like, it was a mess. And now Rikako, who was the priestess, has apparently gone banana. She tried to strangle us. They had to, like, barricade her in a house so she wouldn't, like, break out and start killing people. We don't know what's going on here. This place has gotten crazy. So that's the gist of it. So Danganronpa, basically closer to Higurashi, I would say, but it's like Higurashi mixed with Danganronpa. Which makes sense, because this originally came out 2014, I think? So long after Higurashi and a few years after Danganronpa. I know it came out in English in 2019, but I'm pretty sure it had been published in Japan a few years before that. Yeah, I'm wondering how it'll go tonight. God, yeah. Because, yeah, we were trying to, like, finish, like, quote-unquote, the day in one stream, but it just keeps going. More stuff keeps happening. Let's calm it down a bit with the killing. Literally, because, oh my god, who's left? Okay. So we've got Tiemi, we've got Kaori, we have her son, we have Haru, we have Tai, the old lady, and Meiko, the little girl. Oh, and Nosato, the guy with glasses. So that's just 7 people. They started with like 16 villagers, like not including the outsiders, obviously, and now they're down to 7 in 3 days. Because in a perfect world, only 2 people are supposed to die per day. One from the wolves, one from the hanging. But there's been at least 1 extra victim every day. 7 people for a whole village thing? Yeah, it's like, 4 houses, basically. So, who do you suspect? Haru-chan and Yasunaga-kun. Yeah, Yasunaga is suspicious. I walked up to Chiemi, who was looking after Meiko, and we started a conversation. I can understand Haru-chan, but Yasu-kun? We have 4 suspects, Tai-san, Kaori-san, and them. He was the only one out of those who was outside when Mochi died yesterday. And considering how cunning the wolves are, I can't imagine it being anyone but him. Yeah, that's the thing, right? There's only 7 people left, and it's like, who's smart enough to play all of us? And the only one is Yasunaga. He's that devious? Yeah. Really? Why did Takumi-san die today? Huh? What do you mean? He was obviously killed by the wolves. No. He means why was he picked? That's not what I'm asking. What do you mean? Oh. I think I get it. Because the spider didn't protect him. Right. The spider is probably already dead. Huh? Wait. When you think about it, on the first day, Takumi-san was protected by the spider. And yesterday, no one actually said that the spider should protect someone else, right? That means that the spider once again protected Takumi-san. He's way too valuable, at least. That's what should have happened if the spider was still alive. Well, that's true. Since the feast started, the ones who died before Takumi-san were Kanzo-san, Yoshitsugu-kun, Mochi, and the old man who cried wolf. One of those four was the spider. The wolves realized this, killed him, and then went for Takumi-san. That's the only logical explanation. Huh? Aren't you overthinking it? What if they just assumed the spider was gone because 4 people died? That's the optimistic take. But if we're actually dealing with someone clever, underestimating them would be a fatal mistake. Hi, Zero! But how'd they find out who the spider is? You're too loud. Huh? It's nothing, Meiko-chan. She resumed scribbling on the ground. She was completely absorbed in it for some reason. I think it's likely that the wolves guessed who was the spider. But how? He told me on the first day, Kanzo-san let Yasunaga-kun talk for most of the feast, and only made the final decision, right? We protect the little girl? Hopefully, there's a like a 5-year-old who's involved in this game. She like wandered in from the mists and everyone's like, how has nobody targeted the little girl? They were going after the more important people first. Because the whole point of this is the wolves don't want to get caught. They want to be the last one standing. So they went after the spider first to get rid of the person that could protect the others. And then they went after Takumi, who's the snake, because that was the only way they'd be able to proactively tell who was a wolf. Now the only person left who could tell, assuming the crow is still alive, is the crow. And the only way they can do that is the crow can only tell if the person who was hanged is a wolf or not. So Meiko is a monkey. She's essentially useless to winning for them. Better to get rid of everyone else first. Cause what's the 7-year-old gonna do? He looked like the more proactive type. I doubt he wouldn't agree to hang someone on it. Not to hang someone. Well, that's true, but what about it? If he had spoken up and taken the initiative, he could have easily controlled the situation. Well, kinda, yeah. I mean, it's good in the situation of, you can confirm. Like, the crow is supposed to be used in tandem with the snake. The snake's like, hey, this person's not a wolf. And they're like, okay, we'll hang this person today. Crow? Were they a wolf? They're not a wolf. Okay, snake. Who's the next person we're checking? Are they a wolf? No, they're not a wolf. Okay, crow, we're hanging this person. Were they a wolf? Me? I'm fine. Sometimes the model freezes. Don't worry about it. So the wolf is still alive and we killed an innocent person. Both wolves are still alive as far as we know. We get that time to time. Yeah, because, if you don't know how VTubing works, basically, my phone camera is recording me and it translates that movement to the model. So if I happen to go out of the camera's range for whatever reason, it'll freeze. And I'm a very body language heavy person, so it happens. Yeah, all the deaths so far have been pointless. 1000%. Sometimes Dee Dee likes to freeze. Sometimes I like to turn it to cardboard. Said nothing for almost 10 seconds? Then that's your stream freezing. That's not me. Me shutting up for 10 seconds? That's unheard of. That's impossible. If he'd spoken up and taken the initiative, he could have easily controlled the situation. And most of his decisions would have been good calls. That was why he was such a good target for the wolves. That's what we thought, right? That's true, but we also thought the same about Yasukan. Yeah, and well, whoever didn't get killed was obviously going to be the wolf in that case. On the other hand, if you're a wolf, you have no chance of becoming a target for the wolves. It's more dangerous for them to not say anything important and look suspicious. Giving away harmless info for one is way better. That's the clever thing to do, don't you think? But how's that related to Kanzo Ji-chan keeping his silence? Well, this is all just speculation. But I think he kept quiet to avoid calling attention to himself so the wolves wouldn't target him. Why would he do that? Because he felt that his survival was intrinsically linked to that of the others. Because he had a guardian? Yeah, and it was probably the spider. Why are you so confident? I mean, process of elimination. The spider is the most vulnerable participant in the feast. After all, the one person they can't protect is themselves. But as long as his identity was hidden, he had the possibility of making the wolves waste a night. Dude be saying if he shut up, he's sus. Yeah, I mean, Mafia/Werewolf in the end is a communication game. If you're not saying anything, it does look suspicious, because then it seems like you're not trying to win. Could probably copy pasta. He, of all people, is quiet? He must have an amazing guardian and all that. That led to the wolves taking him out on the first day, and then taking out Takumi-san, now defenseless, on the second. I know that's just speculation, but I kind of feel like you're right. If even that was planned by the enemies, it's best to assume that the anomalies too have all been shortcuts for the wolves. What do you mean? Too many people died outside the rules. Yoshitsugu-kun, Mochi, the old wolf guy, and Rikako. She's effectively dead now. To the wolves, unplanned deaths are a good thing. The less feasts they have to survive, the lower the chance they'll be hanged. Then, what if they planned for those people to die? I see your point, but how could they pull it off? They could tell Yoshitsugu-kun to walk around outside at night, basically sending him to the corruption. I don't know the motive behind Mochi and the wolf guy's death. But it all makes sense if they were killed by Rikako. Huh? Tai-san talked about the Uematsu's role and thought she fell to the corruption because of it, but there's a more reasonable explanation. If she killed the two, she'd have broken the feast rule of one person per day and become a target of the corruption. I put aside the idea that there were apparently two types of corruption: slaughter and madness. But how? Did you see the clothes she wears? She wouldn't have had the time to change. One against two men? Are you kidding, Jimmy? You as the person who helped carry Takumi to the graveyard? Girl is a lot stronger than you think. Then how about this? Mochi or the wolf guy killed the other, and the one who survived was killed by her. She became the target of the corruption for drawing the blood of a second person in one day. I don't know about the clothes, but it could be solved by a large apron or something. We can't say it's impossible until we verify it. But even a single guy sounds like too much for her. One of them was senile, though, or maybe they were weakened from trying to kill each other. What? How could you think something like that? Again, it's just speculation. I don't even know the motive. But it does make sense. But how is that related to the wolves' conspiracy? The old guy was easy? Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? If the old guy killed Mochi, that's more shocking than the other way around. Because it's like, you mean that old guy still had it in him? Because even if you have a really sharp knife to be able to, like, gut someone, you still need the strength to stab through flesh and muscle and fat. Like... I don't know the motive here either, but if they knew her weakness or something, they could have goaded her into killing them. Or maybe she was a wolf herself. Chiemi was at a loss for words. I had no choice but to continue myself. She could have hastened the whole process to give the other wolf an advantage. I really doubt that. Getting themselves killed would be really bad for the wolves. True, considering the number of wolves and humans, losing one wolf to take out 2 humans isn't a good deal. But there was no guarantee that everyone would realize that. Not everyone acts logically. There's lots of illogical stuff going on, and predicting their effects is impossible. No, I don't want to hear that. But you can't give up, can you? I don't want to think anymore. Sorry. I said too much. Don't worry. I'm the one who should be sorry, but... yeah, this is a bit hard for me. I really don't think you people need to keep playing alone with this. I'll help you escape if you want. We can't. I just know that if you're born here, you're fated to die here. That's just a baseless delusion. Someone who can't see God would never understand. Huh. Yeah, I won't. How troubling. It really was troubling. If this was some tabletop fun for the whole family game, I'd have already punched the GM and left. Damn. No one play board games with Haruaki. Jesus. But lives were actually on the line here. He's speaking truth? He is, but you can't just punch the GM. Not just my own, but also that of someone I kinda liked. He's like, I kinda like her. I kinda have a thing for her. But the whole God thing is kind of like, I don't know about that. We'd made it this far, yet she was uncooperative. Maybe. Maybe I was going about this wrong? Maybe if I wanted to save her life, I had to start by saving her from the darkness within? Or maybe from the unidentified supernatural phenomenon that was binding her? Oh, the cow emoji? Yeah. Though that didn't seem like something that could be done in just 3 or 4 days. Still, I'd struggle until the very end. I couldn't participate in the feast myself, so I had no choice but to leave it to Chiemi. I didn't say anything more to her. I just chose to believe she'd overcome her inner conflict soon. Meanwhile, Maiko's drawing had grown so large it felt like she would get lost in the mist. Oi. Hey! I left Chiemi and went to Meiko. Bah! She waved at me. Good thing she was kinda used to me now. What are you drawing? Those are guardians! Guardians? One drawing showed a warped circle with a line just as strange going through it. but I could see what it was. It looked much like the Higuchi family crest I saw in the dining hall. There were 4 of them. Apparently the others were... There were 4 of them. Apparently, the others were hard to differentiate. Oh, that whirling drawing was the same as the one on the stone. The symbol of the Yomotsu Okami. I see. Shinnai-sama's guardians. Did One-chan teach them to you? Yeah. What about these? They're not guardians, are they? They're cattle! I certainly wasn't expecting to hear such a vivid word from a girl about 4 years old. Oh, she's only 4. No wonder she goes, bah! Haru was like roasting her like, you know how to speak properly, don't you? At 4? Not really. Like at that age, like yeah, they can speak in complete sentences, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make sense to you. Let the poor kid bah, literally. And I mean, like, this is assuming she doesn't have any kind of developmental delay kind of thing. We literally have a baby and all the madness, literally. And the crazy thing is so they made an indirect sequel to this game that's coming out, or has come out, I have to double check. And so Meiko is a teenager in that one, and it's like, I need to play that game just to find out if she is actually messed up by all of this. Because if she does not have PTSD from all of this, I'm calling shenanigans. I mean, okay, like, you could argue if she's 3 or 4 years old, she might have been young enough that, like, it didn't stick, but still. Animals, huh? Yeah! This is a cow! Mm-hmm. This is a donkey! Oh! This is a pig! I mean, this is how you're supposed to talk to kids this little, though. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is how you're supposed to do it technically. You are supposed to just show interest even if you don't fully understand. Because even if they don't even if they don't fully grasp your words, they will understand if you're disinterested. Because they are at least at the age where they can read body language. Bah! Hi, Zan. The ground wasn't the best canvas and the little girl wasn't the best artist. All I could tell was that they all had 4 legs. And this is? Me! It had 4 legs, though. Well, whatever. Whoa! Hold on here! Is this an admission that she's not human? Or is she just, like, you know, whatever? Okay. Have a good sleep. I was gonna joke that she's definitely the wolf. You would think so, but apparently she's supposed to be the monkey based on what Mochi said. Though it would be interesting because it's like they're like, oh yeah, you know, the wolves came from the Saranaga and they're going to kill us. But so far, the wolves have been proved to be human. But what if Meiko was like an actual wolf from Yomi, but she's not a killer, basically. And this? It's bigger than the others. A wolf. A light chill went down my spine. Huh? Why a wolf? Because the wolf is coming. Oh boy, huh? The wolf is coming? That was like... Because the wolf is coming, I had to run far, far away. Oh, so yeah, she ran here from some other settlement or like something. Hold on, Mako-chan, you know the wolf? I haven't met him, but I know he's scary. Is this the same wolf as we have here? Where's the snake and the monkey? I don't know. What does the wolf do? Eat the cattle. Eat? Yeah. They said the horse was eaten. Apparently, this had nothing to do with Fujiyoshi's legend. I had no idea if this was from a picture book or her imagination. But there were barely any links between the stories, or, you know, she lived on some farm or something like that and the animals were dying. Or maybe I was rushing to conclusions? Who told you this story? It really happened. Where then? Far away. Far away, huh? I've been walking for so long. Well, it didn't look like I could get any details from her. If far away referred to the land of myth and it actually had truths regarding Fujiyoshi's legends that were told here. What the hell was I thinking? Land of myth? How stupid. I should just calm down and file it under more info that made no sense to me. I see. It must have been hard. I'm hungry. Same here. Let's go back. Okay. As we turned around, I saw Chiemi stand up in the mist again and hesitantly beckon us. Looks like the food's ready. Kiyonosuke-shi was standing at the entrance to the dining hall, wearing a gloomy expression. He was never particularly vigorous, but now his visage was haggard, and he wasn't nearly as arrogant as before. I couldn't blame him. The only person he was friendly flirtatious? Question mark? to Rikako Uematsu was in an awful state. Also, despite all he'd said, he actually relied on Takumi-san. They seemed to be close in terms of age, too. And from what I'd heard, he never really said anything wrong. The only problem was his insensitive choice of words. The feast was a communication game, even if you were right about something. It didn't matter much if you couldn't convince anyone. Still, he was one of the mere 2 confirmed humans. Treating him badly and making him upset wouldn't help at all. I had to be courteous. Let's go. Hungry, aren't we? Chiemi had calmed down a bit. I'd already told her my suspicions. I now had to hope she handled the feast well. All that was left now was to get some nutrients to support my hard-working brain. Right? Well, she looks a little better at least. I'm sorry. New auto commands. Yeah, I spent some time today setting that up. I've just got one for now. I wanted to make sure that it worked properly before I added more. I'm sorry I couldn't prepare anything better. She ladled what appeared to be rice gruel from the large pot. It was a thick white soup with vegetables, rice, and something brown inside. Oh no, what's the brown? Game meat. Is it fermented? Yes. The fresh meat was spoiled. I whispered to her. What do we do? What do you want to do? We were talking about the thing where I had to avoid the local food. You know what? I'll stick to my diet until the end this time. Thanks. What did I mean by this time? Did I think I had another life or something? He subconsciously knows he loops through time. He's just, you know... He hasn't, like, you know, admitted it. She's really kind, though. Chiemi or Kaori? Both I agree with. It was Kaori? Yeah, she's nice. She is. She definitely made a good mom. I think it's just, unfortunately, the way everything is panning out, she's not doing too well. Which, I mean, fair. People have fallen apart for lesser things than your child. Not just being killed, but, like, literally, being in so many pieces you can't bury him. Like, it was fine. It wasn't like I was cool with dying just on the off chance I got a second shot. Dying wasn't an acceptable option. I wasn't about to compromise on that. There's no point in walking around, so I'll just wait here. Alright. You're not going to eat? I have a bunch of allergies. It's because you youngins don't eat proper. You won't become strong if you don't have a balanced diet. Wow, you're actually talking to me normally. How nice. Hey, I was lying, but telling actual allergy sufferers they should just eat and they'd be cured was actual murder. He's got a good point. Well, there were some efforts to cure allergies by carefully injecting the allergies via vaccine, but that was a subject for the doctor. Anyway, going back to the door by myself was dangerous since they suspect me, so I just waited in the corner of the room. Still hungry, man! That's rough. Where are Yasunaga-kun and Haru-chan? Still upstairs? Don't mind them. Your food will get cold. Are they dead? More! I'll go call them. I went up the stairs, and when I reached the second floor, I stopped for a moment. I heard some rustling. I mean, I thought about this. Was it possible they got it that intimate in just a few minutes? Was I about to ruin the mood? Well, food was important too. I said, to get their attention and slowly went up, making sure I was loud enough for them to hear me coming. I mean, teenagers, man. It's lunchtime. Oh, Yasunaga-kun? Oh, hello. The room was full of stuff. It was a huge mess. You looking for something? No luck, huh?
ええ。新しい割烹着が屋根裏にあるって言われたんですけど、見つけられなくて。他もひっくり返してたところですよ。
Yeah, I was told there was a new apron in the attic, but we couldn't find it there, so we were checking other places too. This would seem plausible if her face wasn't red.
そうか。
Huh, so that was it.
見た？
Did you see?
え？
Huh? What?
よければみんなには黙っててもらえますか？
He's looking for something, alright. Oi! Could you not tell anyone about this?
いや、勝手に気を使いはしたけど、別に何か危ないシーンを目撃したわ
I
けじゃないん
did
だ
come
けど。
up carefully, but it's not like I saw anything I shouldn't have.
お楽しみ中だった？
何言うのよ。
I can't believe he actually asked them. Oh my god. Oh, the one and only laugh we're gonna get in this whole game, I swear. They're like, things are about to get really fucked up. Here's a good laugh for you.
嘘だよ。こんな時にそんなこ
Ha
と。
ha ha,
君
I'm
たちはしないでしょ？
kidding. I know you wouldn't do something like that at a time like this. Press F to doubt.
そりゃそうですよ。
Now they're both blushing. Oh, this is sauce.
もちろんよ。
Really now? I was still kind of worried.
じゃあ、一旦切り上げて食事にしたらどう
Anyway,
かな？
why not take a break and get some food? They didn't argue as we prepared to go back. Uh-oh. There was a loud noise from downstairs.
何？
What? Yasunaka-kun and I looked at each other, then ran out of the room without saying a word. We were met with a strange scene. I instantly realized what had happened and who was responsible. Oh dear. Kyonosuke-shi was wearing a furious expression, his shoulders shaking. There was a shattered plate of rice gruel at his feet. The contents were still steaming. He was facing Kaori Oribe-san, who was standing completely still. Did he throw his food to the floor? What a waste! Was it that bad? No way, this was clearly something way bigger than that.
いきなりどう
What's
したの？
gotten into you? Chiemi and the others didn't seem to understand either. They shifted uneasily.
ズだ。
なんですと。
What?
渦だ。渦。獅子滝に鳥かぶとが入っている。
Wait. Did she try to poison everyone? What?
メイコちゃん、食べた？ね、いただきます。まだ。
No, not yet.
他に誰も食べてない？
What about the rest of you?
ちょっと待って。
Hold
な
on.
んだか。本当なんですか？
I'm so lost. Is that true?
見ろこの生煮えの傭変を。光沢があり、裏も白くなく、先端が尖る。匂いも違う。よもぎや二輪草じゃない。
That's true. The Nosato family used to be herbalists. Like they used to make medicine. So is wolfsbane bad for people? It's poison. You didn't know wolfsbane's poison. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, it's poison. It's related to hemlock. Yeah, there we go. Toxicology. Monkshood and other members of the genus contain substantial amounts of the highly toxic aconite and related alkaloids, especially in the roots and tubers. As little as 2 milligrams or 1 gram of plant may cause death from respiratory paralysis or heart failure. 1 gram is not a lot. A potent neurotoxin and cardiotoxin that causes persistent depolarization of sodium channels and in tetrodotoxin. Where's art when you need them? In tetrodotoxin sensitive tissue. The influx of sodium through these channels and the delay in their repolarization increases their excitability and may lead to diarrhea, convulsions, arrhythmia, and death. Marked symptoms may appear almost immediately, usually none later than 1 hour, and with large doses, death is almost instantaneous. Death usually occurs within 2 to 6 hours in fatal poisoning. 20 to 40 milliliters of tincture may prove fatal. AKA, yeah, you don't fuck with wolfsbane. I knew it was poison, but I didn't know the specifics. Diarrhea? Well, in this particular case, the diarrhea would probably cause severe dehydration and you would die from that. So, this isn't mugwort or windflower. You're right! It's wolfsbane! You used wild plants, Mom? Yes. What? That was close! What a mistake! Someone almost got poisoned! She wants to kill us! Well, it was just a mistake! That's it! Don't be so cruel! Haru-chan stopped talking when she realized the suspect was acting strange. Kaori-san was staring right at Kiyonosuke, she not moving an inch and smiling. Oh dear God. Girl, why do you have to kill all of us just because your son died? Well, and I guess Takumi died as well, and she was sort of in love with him, but yeah. Hi, Mexon! Hello. She was completely glaring him down. Yes. That response was so delayed, we had no idea what it was for. When Kiyonosuke she backed away a bit, his expression stiffened from rage to fear. Mom? Oh dear! As she stood there wailing madly, she brandished a knife. She was hardly moving quickly, but the sight of the blade had stunted our reflexes. She's losing it, she lost it. I've seen some bizarre corpses here. I'd borne witness to what pure malice could do. But still living blatant malevolence, killing intent, was enough to paralyze everyone present. I barely registered the scene unfolding before me. Her dentist is great. Considering she lives out in the country, yeah. Staggering a bit, the woman passed the counter. The sharp knife was still green with something, likely shavings of aconite. She raised her voice and aimed her poisoned weapon at the nearest target, Kiyonosuke-san. Oh boy! Tackle her? I don't know why I moved when I did. I was a man of words, not of impulse. In times of crisis, I was the type to turn tail and run after making some sort of parting threat. I shouldn't have been on good enough terms with either Kiyonosuke-shi or Kaori-san to risk my life for them. Yet, when I came to my senses, my body was dancing. Dancing! Charging straight for Kaori-san with my right shoulder. And after a brief struggle, we collapsed. I heard her let out a strained cackle in my ears. I had to change my posture. Unless I pinned her knife hand down, I'd... But in the end, it turned out I really wasn't cut out for the job. These roundabout thoughts were just delaying the inevitable. When the madly laughing woman embraced me, my thoughts ground to a complete halt. Oh dear. She stabbed me right in the back. Simple as that, thanks. To her, I was just another obstacle that had to be removed. I didn't know if the wound itself was fatal, but I could tell that the blade had sunk in incredibly deep. He's brave, though. I would have launched a chair at her forehead. I mean, looking for a weapon seemed like the wrong delayed thing to do. In most situations, tackling the person is the right idea. It's just, he sucks. And that it was coated in leaf green poison. It must have been a near instant death. My mind quickly grew hazy. Yet, my final moments were those of self-reflection. Reckless actions really aren't my forte, after all. Bad ending number 5! Woohoo! Watch Hint Corner, sure. What's the sheep gonna tell us? Oh, you done it now, huh, Chief? This was a real bust. Thanks. A poisoned death for a reckless amateur. Thanks. Look, Haruaki Fusaichi isn't some kind of martial arts shonen protagonist, okay? Besides, even if he did dabble in it a bit, his first instinct would be to run away from someone armed. He'd be fully aware how scary a weapon can be. A lot of martial arts, anime, and manga tend to treat them lightly, but in reality, weapons are far more dangerous than your fists. Yeah. I'm sorry for thinking a 24-year-old man could overpower a 40-year-old woman. Don't bring a fist to a knife fight? Yeah. Die a bloodier death next time? Wasn't good enough for you, huh? Fine. There we go. Stop poisoning. I mean, I had a feeling it was probably grab a weapon, but I decided to go for that one because it seemed the most logical. Because, I mean, are they going to come at her with the broom? Because that's the only thing with longer reach. Find a nearby weapon. Oh, frick. It just hit me. The reason she probably sent her son upstairs with Haru to look for that apron was so he wouldn't eat the poisoned food. Everyone else, she was okay with dying. She was probably okay with Haru dying as well, but like she couldn't just call her down and not her son, so. I had no idea why my body began to move. I grabbed the nearest chair without thinking about it. Hey, Zexu, you were right! It was old, wooden, and heavy. Picking it up made me lose my balance for a bit. I pointed its legs at the would-be murderer and dashed forward as fast as I could. Damn. A crash, a cry of pain, and a scream. I missed the cacophony. I'm sorry, the cacophony. God. I attempted to keep Kaori-san pinned down. I pressed the edge of the chair against her knife arm. She cried out in pain, and the blade clattered to the floor. Chami then quickly kicked it away. Well, that was easy. In hindsight, it all happened in a mere matter of seconds. In fact, tying her up was way harder with her foaming at the mouth and struggling. In the end, we bound her limbs and gagged her to silence her bloodthirsty screams. With that done, we had no choice but to face reality. I know I'm probably not the best person to ask, but what do you even do about this? The six of us stood in the mist right outside the dining hall. Kaori-san was locked inside. She's also become a Yomibito. No, that can't be! She's just not feeling well. Yeah, you know... Feeling so unwell, she attempted murder. I guess she was really pushing herself. Of course she was. Do you have any idea how important Yoshitsugu was to her? He was foolish, short-tempered, and annoying, but... No. That's exactly why she treasured him so much. She often said that he was as reckless as his father. I'll take responsibility and calm her down myself. Please forgive her for this. We should decide this at the feast. Please wait. This is a personal outburst that has nothing to do with the feast. Keep her out of it. How can you be so certain? She might have succumbed to the corruption. Everything in the mist has to be decided at the feast. Breaking that law risks falling victim to the corruption. That's true. Very well. Let's go. No, Yasunaga-kun! She'll be killed! I won't let that happen. Fusaishi-san, please look after her. Not gonna lock me up again? No one replied. Apparently, it didn't matter anymore. Oh, her eyes again! She was making the same face she did whenever she talked about God. I knew this would happen. Strangely enough, there was emotion in her eyes. I could see 90% resignation and 10% fear. Watching me until she finally passed out of sight, she followed the others towards the hall. Where's the sake? Can't we just skip that part? The cleansing is important. Here you go, Nosato-sama. Don't drink the whole bottle, sir. You too, Chi-chan. You just take a lick. What about One-chan? Uematsu-sama can't be here anymore.
私世話するわ
I'll look after this girl.
全部だ
What's the point?
知恵ねしっかりしてよ
Chiene, get a grip!
では始めるが私は織部夫人をくくるのに一票入れたい根拠は何です
For what reason? I mean, personal grudges aside, she did try and murder him.
彼女は危険だ
She's dangerous.
じゃあ僕は上松里香子さんに一票入れますよ
In that case, I will vote for Rikako Uematsu-san
危険だからです
for the same reason.
他の各位はどう考えるのかね仮投票だ決定じゃ
What about the rest? This is a temporary vote for now. Say what you think.
私はどっちもくくるべき
I think we should hang both. Doesn't really matter what order.
私今頭回ってな
I
い
can't think straight right now.
上松里香子をくくるべきよ香織さんは話せばわかるかもしれないけどあっちはもう化け物じゃない
We can at least talk to Kaori-san, but Rikako is a mad beast.
お前はどうなんだ
What about you, child?
お姉ちゃん食べるの
They're eating One-chan?
何を言って
What's that supposed to mean?
お前の好きな里香子さんを守りたいなら織部香織をくくるのに投票しろ
Hey, that's manipulation!
無理ですよ分かりっこない危険が3人あとは2対
She won't understand. 3 didn't vote, and the 3 who did are in favor of hanging Uematsu-san. It's decided.
ふざけるなわざわざ移り住んでまで休みずに身を尽くした彼女に対してこれが休みずの恩の返し方か
You're the only one who likes her, bro. Calm down. This is absurd!
というか
Hear me out, will
聞かせ
you?
てくれませんか
My mom is just a bit out of it right now.
話は通じ
We may still be able to reason with her.
上松
However, Uematsu-san is basically a mindless animal.
同じじゃないですか
She doesn't even have the capacity to vote on things. Unlike mom, she's a Yomibito now.
仮に今日母をくくったとして明日はどうするんです
Even if we hate my mom today, what will we do tomorrow? Do you have a way of fixing Uematsu-san?
決まりですかね
Looks like it's decided.
なんと短絡的な血縁者ゆえのひいき目かもしれんが対極的なものが何も見えていない
Bro, just shut up. How simplistic! I know you're biased because Madame Oribe is a relative, but you don't see the big picture!
なんですって
What?
考えてもみろ我々は
Damn, you can really see the loss. Oh yeah, this room is so empty now. Think about it. Our top priority is to kill the wolves. That comes before all else.
読み人は狼ではないのだろうであれば
Yomibito aren't wolves, are they?
も同義なのだ
That basically proves that Ikako-san isn't a wolf.
はどういうことです
Huh? What do you mean?
伝承を思い出してみるがいい狼とは読
Remember the legend. The wolves are Yomotsu Okami, beings already corrupted by Yomi.
その上さらに読み人になるなど考えられるかね
Do you really believe they can become Yomibito as well?
山脇さんどう思われる
Yamawaki-san, what's your opinion?
そう
That
それは
that might be true.
こういう仮説はどうかね強い汚れを受ければ斬死するあの取材者たち
Here's our hypothesis. Powerful corruption slaughters you, like it did those journalists and your brother.
しかし一方弱い汚れは狂気となる狂ったお守りが狼で狂った人が読み人だ
However, weaker levels of corruption cause madness. Mad guardians are wolves, while mad humans are Yomibito.
つまり汚れの罰は狼にとって斬死のみを意味し人には読み人と斬死の二通りあり得る
That means that the corruption's punishment can only be slaughter for wolves, and either slaughter or Yomibito transformation for humans.
ご都合主義な妄想だ
That's just a convenient delusion.
そう証明する手立てはないしかし最もらしさを
Indeed,
積み上げることは
I have
まだ
no
で
way
き
to
る
prove it, but I can make it seem more plausible.
もし狼が汚れで狂うというのならば あんな姿になるのかね。人の皮をかぶった獣が狂ったならば。
If wolves could go mad due to the corruption, would they even look like Rikako-san does? These are beasts disguised as humans. Would they truly look like that if they gone mad?
私は獣は本性を表すと思うがね。けむくじゃらな本性。リカコさんはそうなったかね。なっていない。
Bro is the most biased of them all.
それは
That
そうかもしれ
that
ない
might be true.
それじゃあ香織さんを先にすべきなのか
Then maybe we should hang Kaori-san first.
えば
野里さんはおとぎ話を前提にして話してる。
You're basing your decision on fairy tales. We've had actual deaths here. This is ridiculous.
馬鹿げているのはどっちだ。汚れの恐怖を認めるならば、それは伝承を認め
I'm
る
the
と
one
いう
who's
ことだ。
ridiculous. To accept the fear of the corruption means to accept the legends.
そら私は認めたぞ。汚れを恐れつつ伝承を軽んじるのは二重基準ではないかね。
See? I've accepted it. Fearing the corruption while disregarding the legends is what's truly ridiculous. Don't you think?
知恵ね。
Chiene.
私は神様が怖い
That's what you're choosing to say?
こうして全てを手のひらの上でもてあそんでいる神様が怖い
何を言ってるの？
What are you saying?
それでもいや
Regardless
それだから
of.
こそ
No, because of that.
怖いものと戦わなきゃならなくて
We need to fight back against our fears. For that, we need weapons.
アキさん
Haruaki-san?
え
Huh?
なんで
Why?
あいつ
Him.
私はヤスくん
I vote for you, Yasu-kun.
何を
What?
知恵ね
Chiene?
意味がわからんぞ、芹沢。
I'm not sure I understand you, Serizawa.
野里さんここから確定票を取って
Nosato-san, start the proper vote. There's no point in just talking. Huh?
それは
But
いつかやらなきゃならないことだ。それに、知恵ねが確定票を入れるなら、
this was going to happen sooner or later, and if she's truly casting her vote, it's only fair for us to cast ours.
でも、許せるかどうかは別だよ、知恵ね。
But whether I can forgive you or not is another story.
分かってる
I know.
異論はない。ではこれから確定票とする。
私の考えを言うね野里さんの言い分は半分まで来たし
Here's what I think. Nosato-san is half right. We're supposed to search for wolves here.
ただその論拠が昔話の解釈なのだろうがモッチや狼じじいや
But I'm completely against relying on the legends for evidence. Mochi, the old wolf guy, and Takumi Nisan all died at the hands of people.
ならば昔話じゃなくて今まであったことを振り返って考え
That's why we should look back over what's happened so far instead of the legends. So how about this?
まず私と同じように優先順位を
First,
ちゃんとつけられ
who
る人
aside from me understood the purpose of the feast?
野里さんはさっき言った通りメイコちゃんは若すぎて無理
Nosato-san said it himself. Meiko-chan is too young to understand. And Haru-chan. Honestly, I think she opposed Nosato-san and sided with Yasu-kun regardless of the situation.
変わらず
Welcome back, Ranger!
タイバーちゃんはきっと伝説やら何やら中心で語る
Tai Ba-chan would look to the legends,
一等
obviously.
信心深い人だから
She's the biggest believer here.
じゃあヤスくんは
What about Yasu-kun, though? I know it's been hard for him, and with his mom about to be hanged, I can understand why he'd panic.
だけど
But
そ
then,
の対抗として
why push for Rikako-san's hanging?
安水の人間なら確かに長者をくくる方向に誘導するのは簡単かもだけど
It's easy for us Yasumizu people to justify hanging the village heads. But you should understand what comes first.
怪しい海人なきにせんなんて言葉より前に直接の脅威になり得る
Death of the damned Yomibito is the mandate. We should be looking for the immediate threat at hand, the wolves, before worrying about those words.
私の知ってるヤスくんは切羽詰まっても
The Yasukun I know would keep a cool head, even in a crisis.
知恵ね。言いたいことは分かったよ。
Chiene, I understand what you're saying.
僕は
I
こいつが許せないんだ。
just can't forgive him.
あなたが適当なことを言って場をかき回すもんだから。匠にも義継もモッチーも殺された。
Whenever you talk, it always makes a mess of things. Takumi ni, Yoshitsugu, and Mochi are dead because of you.
この後に及んで次は母さんだと言う。
And now you want to take my mother? I'm sick of you.
ちょっと兄ちゃんどうしたの落ち着いて。
ああ、そうだね。
So yeah, I forgot about the purpose of the feast. It was just an act of petty revenge. I used Haru-chan for that. Like you said, that's all there is to me. I'm a pretty boring person. Are you still not satisfied?
そうだね。らしくないとしか思わない。
Yeah, this is totally out of character for you.
ヤス君、これはきっと疑心暗鬼だと思う。
Yasukun,
でも言うね。
I'm probably just looking too deeply into it, but
香織さんが食事を出した時、安永君
when Kaori-san set the food, only you and Haru-chan were absent.
もし他の人があれで全滅してたら、残るは君たち二人だった。
If the others had all been poisoned as planned, you'd be the only survivors, Haruaki-san notwithstanding.
もしあなたが狼だったら、とても楽な
If you were a wolf, that'd be pretty good for you, right?
僕が母さんにあれをやらせたって。
Are you suggesting I convinced mom to poison everyone?
そうだったら最悪だって。
That'd be just the worst.
鳥兜を香織さんが取ったのは、おそらく朝だよね。それ以外暇はなかったし。
She probably got the wolfsbane early in the morning. She was too busy otherwise, and it did look like she woke up early.
その時からみんなを殺す気だった。夜の間に吹き込まれたとするなら。
By that point, she was already resolved to kill us. It's easy to imagine that someone had given her the idea the previous night.
そんな。でも
What? But we can't contact anyone at night.
狼は
There are two wolves.
まさか
What?
香織さんが唯一残った息子のために一人で汚れを被る覚悟で
For the sake of her only living son, Kaori-san was ready to kill everyone, even if it meant being subject to the corruption.
私も人だもん
But I'm human!
最後に狼と人が残っても
If you only had the wolves and a lone human at the end, votes would no longer matter. Haru-chan wouldn't be able to do anything. Spooky? Those are Spooky's emails, so I don't know. Maybe someone gave you a gift sub to Spooky?
嘘だよね
No way. Nii-chan?
やすくん
ありえないんだ。
That's impossible.
だって
I mean,
母さんが
if mom were a wolf,
義継が死ぬわけがない。
Yoshitsugu wouldn't have died.
あいつを生かすために僕を殺すなら
She could have killed me to spare him, though.
僕が頼んだって。
You think I convinced her to do that? She'd never listen. She loved him way more than me. Sounds like you're jealous. Sounds like you killed your brother.
ちえねあんまりよ兄ちゃんがお母さんにそんなこと言うはずないじゃん
Chie-nii, this is cruel. There's no way he'd say anything like that to his mom.
別に私はヨシ君が殺されたとは言ってない彼は単に夜
I'm not saying the wolves killed Yoshikun. He might have just been out at night and killed by the corruption. Also, even if she wasn't a wolf, she'd help her son, even if it meant falling victim.
そうやって都合のいいことを言って兄ちゃんをどんどん悪者にしようとしてるようにしか見えないわ
It sounds like you're saying whatever you can to make Nii-chan into a bad guy.
どうしちゃったのよちえね私たち
What's wrong with you? You always used to protect us.
あの人
Was it him?
久石さんがそうやって言えって
Did Fusaishi-san tell you to say that? Did he make you change?
そんなことはないよ
No, he didn't. I'm just following his example and thinking for myself. Things I don't want to be true could actually be true, and I can't look away from them.
それで思いつきで僕に
And so you decided to vote against me and ruin our friendship. Don't start with the guilt tripping. I mean, Listen to yourself. The Yasukan I know would never try to guilt me into some mission like that. If you ask me, you're the one who changed. So, who will you vote for? I need to take responsibility for what I said. I suspected Yasukan, and I'm sticking to that. How will you vote? Tai is definitely a wolf, because it doesn't make sense to hang Kaori. There's no way she's a wolf. What about you? So now you're being respectful. My answer doesn't change. In fact, Serizawa's words made me all the more certain. Okay. Can be ignored. Wait, Meiko-chan! Think your vote might decide whether the humans win or lose. Who said anything about tricking her? We're just asking her. I choose who I don't need? Yes. Then I'll go with the lady. She was scary. You mean the woman from the dining hall? Yeah. It's decided then. Well, you should have made sure she didn't frickin' try and poison everyone! Oh boy, a vote is a vote. It's over. The wolves win. I heard muffled screams and sobs from the dining hall behind me. Gagged and tied, Kaori Oribe was still wailing. She couldn't move properly and had a pole fixed to her shoulders, but I was still worried enough to check every now and then. The lack of change helped calm my nerves, but at the same time, I resented myself a bit for it. Quite a bit of time had passed since the feast had begun. What kind of decision would they make? The daily wolf lynching, hanging, had failed every single time so far. Considering the number of days remaining and how many people were left, if they messed up today, the humans would lose all hope of surviving. If either Kaori Oribe or Rikako Matsu ended up chosen, there would just be no chance anymore. Hey, so about that! Once I saw people leaving the hall, my mouth moved on its own. It's done then. Their eyes were steady. They walked in my direction. Not to me, though, but to the dining hall. You chose Kaori-san. I asked anyway. I was speaking to the last representative of sanity in this place, Kiyonosuke no Sato. We didn't even converse. His tone and the look in his eyes were different from usual. His usual arrogant pride was gone, and in its place stood a deadly determination. I lost. I was against it. Haruaki-san, take the girl. Mako was at the rear of the group, somewhat hesitantly. She walked up to me. I moved aside to let them pass. They all entered the dining hall and dragged out the victim. The ones holding the ropes and doing the dragging were Kiyonosuke no Sato and Chiemi Serizawa. Following behind was Tai Yamawaki, prodding her onward with a bamboo broom. Stop! As his mother cried out in pain, Yasunaga Oribe followed the group, hand in hand with Haru Makishima. Stop them! Haru Makishima was bawling. Yasunaga Oribe was shaking, not even trying to hide his sobs. His face was warped in anguish. Someone! As the group faded away, the gag fell out, and the victim's voice grew loud. Not a scrap of reason remained, only raw terror. Give that voice actress a raise. Or perhaps madness. Oh, please, someone! Beg for her life. However, I didn't hear any pleas to the very end, and I painfully realized I wasn't participating in the feast. I wasn't part of this life selection game, bound by otherworldly rules. Don't look. I turned Mako away, hugged her, and covered her ears. Because of that, I couldn't cover my own. Parent-like dedication. What a weird idea. Anyway, as the group disappeared into the mist, I somehow felt as though the screams or laughs grew even clearer. I was subjected to this illusion until the very end. During the final moments, the mother called out her son's name. It was the name of the elder son, and he responded by calling for his mother. But at the very last moment, it felt like the victim shouted out a different name. There was a strange sound, followed by silence. Mako's body was surprisingly warm. In response, she just nodded. Let's escape from this place tomorrow. She nodded again. Give up on Rikako Uematsu. Mako started crying. I let her go, took her by the hand, and led her to the dorm. There, I took all the remaining food I had. Then, I escorted her back to her place. Lock up. I'll come pick you up tomorrow morning. Still crying, she nodded. Eat this. All of it, okay? I gave her some food and closed the door. Once I turned around, I saw them. Today's feast is over. There wasn't a hint of emotion in his voice. I see. As one who didn't participate in the feast, I was in no position to criticize or support them. They just turned around and retreated to their places, leaving no indicator whether they'd actually heard me. 3 of them were headed in the same direction. I didn't feel like joining them, instead casting a glare at their backs as they walked. My powerlessness was killing me. Quite literally. Man, because yeah, I imagine tomorrow's the last day for this route. Because now there's only... Excluding the 2 wolves, there's only 3 humans. No, maybe 4 humans, I guess. 4 humans, but yeah. wolves basically won. The chances you'll get rid of both of them before the end, very low. Under the assumption I would die tomorrow, I decided I would go through the mist down to Saranaga. A strict taboo here. What kind of death would that get me? Would I be injured? Wander into some other world? Something else entirely? Or perhaps I'd be eaten by a monster. I still had that incomprehensible memory, but it was enough to make me suspect that was the most likely scenario. Normally, people didn't remember dying. The unknown was scary. But journeying into the unknown meant conquering that fear. So you could say there were some perks to remembering that death. But if it was guaranteed that I would die just like that, I wasn't really keen on the idea. That had hurt like hell, not to mention how terrifying the experience was. Then, think of a better way to die. One that won't hurt so much. Or at least would be worth the pain. Like if I led to the survival of a young child. Anyway, I'd wager my life. Surprisingly an upstanding dude. Surprisingly upstanding. I feel like wanting the little kid to live is like the bare minimum of humanity here. But still, it's nice to know he doesn't stoop that low. I'd wager my life all that remained was finding supporters. I closed my eyes and took a few deep breaths. Whoosh! I threw a Yakuza kick into the wall? What the hell? What are you doing? What the hell? What song is this, sir? Attack the wall with my ass? Excuse me? Shut up! I heard Chiami's angry voice through the front door. You sound like you enjoyed it. No one would know how to react to that. The walls you were thin, apparently. You know, Haruaki's got a decent singing voice. I would like to see him go crazy at karaoke. This is your idea of a conversation? If you can still talk like that, then you're perfectly sane. Escape it is. Let's say bye-bye to this nest full of crazy. Listen, Haruaki-san. I'm serious. Still outside my door, she fell silent. It was only about 8, still a safe time. I walked up to the door and unlocked it. Damn, you look awful. Is it that bad? Nah, just joking. What's with the jokes? You my boyfriend now or something? You put on a tough face, but it's a mask hiding some supernatural suffering, isn't it? Come on, talk to me. Well, don't if you don't want to. Take a seat. Pardon the intrusion. Alone in an empty room, we sat cross-legged and looked at each other. Tell me what happened during the feast today. Who are the wolves? Hell, I don't know. Hell, I don't even care anymore. The situation was hopeless. She felt the same way. So far, there wasn't a single lynching with a good reason behind it, and it did feel like they'd gotten lucky and killed a wolf.
いっそあの青ビオタンが狼ならな。すっきり
If only that scrawny rich guy were a wolf, it'd be so easy to hate him.
匠さんからお墨付きが出てる以上
Takumi-san said he's
その可能
clean,
性はとても低い
so that's not likely.
知ってる。
I know. But still, assuming Yasunaga-kun was actually our wolf, I really doubted he was cold-hearted enough to keep up the act of a human while seeing off his mother to her death. Like Chami had pointed out, it was best to assume Kaori-san had only done what she did for her son. If everyone died and only one was left, he'd be the victor, regardless if he was human or a wolf. Probably. Whatever the case, it was important to note that it was wrong to guess whether Yasunaga-kun was a wolf based on this alone. Kaori Oribe was in a messed up mental state that led her to plot the deaths of herself and everyone else just to save her son. It was simply the immense power of motherly love at work. I don't know about that being motherly love, but okay. I'd messed it up by sending Haru-chan to the second floor. Kaori-san probably resented me for that. Not to mention, I was the one who'd pinned her down. Being the target of a dead person's enmity was a rare experience, and in my opinion, it was uncomfortable.
やっぱ私には無理だったな。
Turns out I couldn't follow your example.
僕の
My example?
うん。考えていろいろやってみた。
I tried to think and did stuff, but, well, was I a bad influence on her? Well, carefully deliberating your actions was never a bad thing, obviously. Also, it was worth noting she pointed out that Yasunaga-kun tried to guilt trip her wasn't like him. Her own intuition was important too. Besides him, there was Tai-san, who believed nothing but the superstitions. Haru-chan, who always agreed with Yasunaga-kun, and Meiko, the one who sealed Kaori-san's fate.
みんな怪しいな
Everyone is suspicious.
だからもう
Yeah,
誰でもいい。
that's why I don't care who it is anymore. Chiemi hung her head.
メイコちゃんは助けてやることに
I've
決め
decided
て
to
るんだけど
help Meiko-chan.
どうやって
How?
ここを出て
By running away with her? I'm telling you, it's pointless.
待ってて確実に死ぬよか良くないか
It's better than just staying around waiting for death, isn't it? And if she turns out to be a wolf, you'd be down to one. Lucky day, huh?
なのかな
Would it be? I don't know anymore.
わかんない人
I killed someone.
しちゃった。
She said it casually, but I could tell that was hard for her to say.
君は悪くない
Excuse
さ
me. It's not your fault. I responded equally casually. I felt like breaking the illusion would be too much to handle. Wow. It's like you don't care at all.
そもそも君は
But-
反対したろ
You were against it, weren't you?
一応殺人を止めなかったって
Not stopping the murder makes me a partner in crime, doesn't it?
それは僕も同じだし
I'm the same in that regard.
あ、そっか。
Oh. Right.
それに異常な状況下で異常な決断をしてしまうことに
The law would understand that you made the wrong decisions because of the circumstances.
そうね
Law, huh?
どうにしたってまともな法で裁かれるなら意味不明な山の掟に
Well, being punished under a proper rule of law is infinitely better than being punished by some weird laws of some mountain.
それとも
or-
ちえみちゃんはむし
What?
ろ超常的な死を遂げたい
Do you
のか
want to die a supernatural death?
どれも的を外してる
No
ってと
dice,
ころ
huh?
か
Yeah. Man, this was complicated.
神様ってやつのせいか
Is it God's fault?
半分は
Half of it. Yeah,
もう半分は説明しづらい
but you can't explain the other half. Right.
じゃあ神様の方を
Then-
話してよ
Talk about God at least.
どう言えばいいのか
How do I put this? God is misfortune. Well, I don't mean that literally. It's just that it's because of God that we can't attain happiness. Is God visible? Yeah. We've all seen it, but its true form might be invisible. Let me ask about the visible part. Is it human? Though slowly and hesitantly, she gave me a light nod. Is it someone from Yasumizu? Silence. Neither yes or no. Then, is it someone from Kami Fujiyoshi? She kept her silence. Her shoulders were shaking a bit. Then... Oh dear! No, it's not human! You can deal with humans, but God is beyond them! Shit, I knew it'd go like this! Calm down and explain! Otherwise we'll both be killed! Fine! I just want this nightmare to be over already! Oh, is she looping too? Because the way she says, I think I can really die, makes it sound like she's tried to die and she can't. What are you saying? Get a hold of yourself. I'm not corrupted. I'm not insane. I'm not. It's Fujiyoshi that's crazy. It's God that's crazy. Is God some state of being? I just kind of blurted out something without thinking. Tammy was clearly in a state of panic. The despair was one cause, but someone panicked like this couldn't explain themselves properly. Also, I did feel like this was simply some spiritual being she could see. She could perceive God as a sensation of sorts, and the fact others couldn't caused her to panic. Explaining a sense like that wasn't easy, and trying to explain it in detail was a reminder of how much it scared her. I had to try and understand what she was sensing, and find a better word for it than God. That was why I thought to myself after saying those words, but... why did she suddenly go quiet? She might be looping? Yeah, it kind of feels that way. Thank you for the raid! Hello, Nert! Hello. We're in an ad break right now, so I apologize if no one can hear me, but thank you! Tunic, very nice. That was... She was raising her head. Her eyes were wide, staring right at me. She'd completely stopped voicing her pain. Did I hit the nail on the head? As I considered that possibility, I felt a cold, damp breeze from behind me. She wasn't staring at me. She was staring at something behind me. I turned, following the direction of her eyes. Hey, welcome back from ad break. Thank you for the raid. You're just in time for the true horror. Yay! I hope you had fun playing Tunic. How long had the front door been open? Had I forgotten to lock the door? How long had that thing been there? There There was a person outside. Was it even human? Through the darkness, I could see that it definitely had a humanoid silhouette. Oh, we're at this stage? Oh, yeah. We're having a good time. But it was definitely abnormal. Its body was covered in bandages. No sutras? It was a smallish boy or girl covered in marked cloth. Again, was it even human? I asked the same question again, unable to even voice the words. I couldn't move a finger, or rather, I didn't, because I had no idea what would have happened if I did. As the tension began to overwhelm me, I saw its lips move. The wolves cometh to the smell of Yomi. Cleanse, shelter, and dream. Daughter of Fushiyoshi. A howl. I heard something fall. Turning back around, I realized it was Chiemi. Chiemi? Still confused, I rushed over and caught her. It was a momentary loss of consciousness. She hadn't fainted. She just seemed to be drifting at the border of reality. Hey! Wake up! Why am I here? What was that thing? What? Weird. I'm so sleepy. Sorry. I'm going back. Jimmy stood up. Her eyes were utterly devoid of life. She headed to the door. It was closed. There was no one there. I set that matter aside for now. Jimmy was way more important. I had to stop her. That was why I'll take you out of here. Wrapped my arms around her. If you want to throw away your life, give it to me. Tomorrow morning, I'll take you and Meiko and leave this place. You and Meiko? Not just you? That was her first response in a while. Well, you entrusted her to me. I'll honor the trust you showed me until the end. Man of integrity, huh? You noticed? Well, there's also the fact that I'm just not too keen on letting a child die. You've dropped the tough guy act, Haruaki-san. Also, when did you drop the honorific? You don't like it? I don't mind, it's just... Shouldn't there be a transition point for these kinds of things? Go out with me. Sure. So, let's get out of here. Okay. Just so you know, I'm only saying that because I don't mind dying with you. Sorry, but Meiko-chan's barely a blip on my radar. That's not very responsible, is it? Chiemi-san is a girl with many brain problems, so she prefers to rely on people older than her. Leave it to me. Also, we're taking anyone who wishes to join us. What? I'm not getting some special treatment here? You are. The others have a choice. But now that we're dating, I'm taking you whether you like it or not. Not sure I'm happy about that.
僕はモテないんだ。
Did you know I'm actually not a very popular guy?
春明さん
Haruaki-san?
あり
Thanks. Her teary voice compelled me to embrace her.
私が
If I'm killed by the wolves tonight,
言うな。
don't say that.
私の
I don't care what.
どこか一部だけでも
Take a part of me outside.
心配するな。
Don't worry.
怖い
I'm scared.
僕がいる。
I'm right here.
僕が。
I'm here for you. It hurt to say baseless things. Even so, I kept on saying whatever I could to make her feel better. How is this a better romance than most romance games? This went on for only 10 or so minutes, though. Even if the wolves did pay us a visit, we'd have to respect the rules of living here. We awkwardly exchanged some parting words. I saw her off as she returned to her room, her parting ways with a frail smile on her damp face. Tomorrow. Everything would be decided tomorrow. Here we go. Still chapter 3. Wow. So chapter 4 must be the next route then. Another morning. Aside from being really hungry, I woke up the same as always. I hadn't died. The only real difference this morning was that I could go outside as I pleased. It was still misty out, and I couldn't see much beyond the dorm. A settlement isolated in mist, a space cut away from the world. Could we really leave this place? We could. It had to be physically possible. The idea that we couldn't was just speculation. No matter how much this place defied reality. What was that thing? Why had Chiemi collapsed? How sane were we? Was this even really happening? Human senses and memories often lied to us, though just dismissing anything that didn't make sense as an illusion wasn't a good idea. That thing had actually visited us. Its appearance was strange, but I had little proof that it was something supernatural. Thus, that had to be human. As for the reason Chiemi collapsed, there were quite a few possibilities. Unless it was a trick she'd schemed with that thing beforehand. That being had to have been too much for her to handle emotionally.
あいつ、なんて言ってたっけ?
What did the thing say again? The wolves cometh to the smell of Yomi. Cleanse, shelter, and dream. Daughter of Fujiyoshi. Was it? It basically seemed like a fancy way of saying get back to your room and sleep. So it was a warning from those who made the rules. Then, was that something on the mountain? Great Lord Shinai's side? No, to be honest. I'd say it was more like something from the other side. I mean, it kind of fit my image of Yomi Bito. It wore sutras in place of clothing, and the cloth over its face reminded me of a funeral shroud. The word corruption seemed particularly fitting. It had a really sinister aura. To me, anyway. Though, that was strange. Great Lord Shinai was the enemy of the forces from Yomi. Yomi Bito wouldn't act as his messengers. This contradiction. It was quite eerie. An alluring unknown. But that didn't matter now. My goal was to let Chiemi and any supporters we gathered escape. I returned to the room, made my futon, and started searching again. The futon was the only thing in the closet. There was nothing I could use as a weapon. I gave up, left the room, and went to Chiami's. If the worst had come to pass, I had to fulfill her last request. The door was locked. I knew it. So the wolf was. I knocked. She came out after just a few seconds. Apparently, she was already ready to go. I want a weapon. I figured. She gave me a pretty large knife with a sheath, probably used for hunting. Got anything for yourself? I lost my kitchen knife, so you'll have to protect me, alright? Sure. I had zero confidence in pulling it off, but sometimes bravado was important to hold on to. She's gonna go get the hunting rifle, just wait. We went to Haru-chan's room. It wasn't locked. The room was no bigger than ours, but it was a huge mess. But it did look like there was a corpse present. She'd either already woken up and went outside without locking the door, or her corpse was somewhere outside, like Yoshitsugu-kun. I'd gained a habit of expecting the worst. What about Yasunaga-kun? The same. Let's check on Meiko. Today's mist was denser than usual. Just extending my arm was enough to make my hand hazy and indistinct. I kept on walking, knife in my right hand, and Chiami's hand in my left. The settlement was way too quiet. We headed for the village plaza. I almost tripped a few times on the field paths, but Chiami kept me on my feet with just a few warnings. I could keep going as long as she was with me. We arrived at the plaza. There was no one there. Basically, there was no need to use the dining hall as the go-to gathering spot anymore. I wonder who the wolves would have even killed last night. There were only like 3 humans left. Well, 4 technically. I guess probably no Sato? We passed Rikako Uematsu's house. It didn't look unlocked, but I couldn't hear any indications of movement from inside. Was she asleep? Or did something happen to her? Whatever the case, I had no choice but to ignore her. It was here, right? Yeah. Meiko's place was... open? Thankfully, all I found inside was just a messy futon. It was the same as Haru-chan's room, but... now that it happened with 3 people, it was safe to assume something wasn't right. Chimmy, sorry, but you can have this back. I gave her the knife, and I grabbed a stick laying against the house. What's wrong? That is... I need a weapon I can actually use. That aside, where do we go next? The hall, right? As it turned out, that was exactly where the other inhabitants were. With the exception of one, anyway. You're late. Or maybe we're early. Haru Makishima, she was in her usual agitated state. Tai Yamawaki, she was silently chanting something to herself. Meiko, Haru-chan had her hands on her shoulders, but she still looked anxious. And finally... Uh-huh. Yasunaga Oribe, his face was grim. Those were all the people here, meaning that... So they finally got no Sato-san, huh? A simple process of elimination was enough to know who was gone. Anyway, it was time for the first battle. Meiko, come here. She tried to walk to us. No. But Haru stopped her. It was time. I raised my stick and... So you finally reveal your true colors. Yasunaga Oribe stood in my way. Whoa! Bro!
知恵ねえは騙されてたんだ。この人が汚れの元凶だよ。この人を宴に混ぜないのは。
Nice try, buddy.
この人をくくってれば。
If we hanged a Mom Yoshitsugu, and everyone else would still be alive. Wait, that's...
今日はこの人をくくるんだ。
We'll hate him today. That will end everything. Yasunaga-kun, you should have tried to advance the situation based on a story no one knows. What about you? Why did you try to attack? Oh, good point. I'll tell you. I want to take back the hostage. But that's... Well, before that, let me just help Chiami-chan understand. Look how confused she is. They didn't say another word. Chiami and Meiko were the only ones who seemed confused at all. Basically, the others had prepared for this. Ignoring who's a wolf here, there's two important things you gotta keep in mind. First, yesterday, I told Meiko that I wanted to escape the settlement with her. It's best to assume everyone heard that. Escaping the village is taboo. I know that. The question is whether letting someone escape makes you a target of the corruption. That was why you secured Meiko first thing in the morning, and I can totally understand that. The other thing is that Chiemi and Yasunaga-kun ended up on opposing sides yesterday. Owing to that, today's feast would be a one-on-one between them. Since Haru-chan would almost always take Yasunaga-kun's side, he'd have an advantage. But with Tae-san and Meiko as swing votes, his victory wasn't guaranteed. That's why you decided that reconciling with Chiemi and going after the only outsider here was the safest way, right? You're wrong. I'm not. That's why you took Meiko as a hostage. You want me silenced. What would I gain from that? I mean, I'm not a part of the feast. You agreed to that yourself, didn't you? Look at yourself, buddy! Yeah, and you're the ones who killed him! We all lost people important to us! And who didn't lose anything? Only you! Oh. So that was his story, huh? Sorry, Yasunaga-kun. But you're a bad storyteller. Huh. You seem to have a habit of putting up a wall of well-spoken words when lying or putting on an act. Please stop messing around. Oh, but I'm not. Yasunaga-kun, you're trying way too hard to manipulate people using their emotions. You also underestimate Chiemi by thinking you can just use that as a smokescreen for the holes in your story. Well, from an emotional standpoint, blaming me for everything is definitely the easiest way. But on the other hand, you're selling yourself short. You're calm, cool, collected. The guy who argues against adult absurdity with facts and logic. Please stop this pointless analysis. Well, that's something for the villagers to decide, not me. They're the ones who've watched you for years. Of course, I understand you went through something difficult enough to change you. Then, let me ask you this. Are you blaming everything on the outsider because you've lost your own emotions? Or are you actually acting rationally to make sure you hate me and waste today's feast so you can tip the scales in your favor? As in, are you someone who'd benefit from wasting today's lynching? What do you think, Chiemi? She gasped and looked at Yasunaga. There was suspicion in her eyes, not trust. You could have just said I was a wolf. Yet, you didn't. You just said I'm the cause of all this. Because you're a wolf yourself. You hate lying, don't you? You know, when the chips are down, you have to commit to the lie. Oh yeah, now he's just straight up hysterical. Making an emotional appeal in the face of cold logic is a bad move here. You need to fight logic with logic until the end. Oh dear. You had a point there. I did feel like shit about that. I should have joined the feast from the get-go. If I had, I wouldn't have wasted time on pointless arguments and autopsies. However, you know, right here, there's a guy who can think for himself. But just played along with some dumb superstition, letting both his brother and mother die. As an adult, I'm really mad at him, Yasunaga-kun. Once I said that, Yasunaga hung his head and fell silent. Yeah, literally. Like, it'd be one thing if Yasunaga wasn't a wolf and just everything had happened around him and now at the end he's kind of gone off the deep end. But he participated in all of this. And if Tae, who I assume is the other wolf, did all the killing, he did nothing to stop her. 10 seconds of silence were enough for everyone to realize he'd lost the argument. However, the expression on his face was abnormally calm. True, I really am a wolf. He spoke as if it wasn't a big deal. But you are misunderstanding a few things. But that just made it seem even more abnormal. We've already won. He tossed away the grass sickle. His voice wasn't nearly as passionate as before. It was cold and rational. He demonstrated a confidence rooted in sound logic. But I couldn't understand what he meant. Other wolf, please reveal yourself. What was the point of that? Are you sure, Yasu-kun? Yes, that's enough. I'm the other wolf. I couldn't make sense of this. Had he decided to graciously concede by selling out his partner now that he'd been cornered? No, he said he'd already won. Even if there were 2 wolves, there were 4 of us. They'd lose in votes. My answer came from a completely unexpected direction.
兄ちゃん兄ちゃんやっぱりタイバーと兄ちゃんが狼様だったんだね
Oh dear. A shout of pure, unadulterated joy. Haru Makishima became the least comprehensible of anyone present. She ran to Yasunaga and hugged him. He hesitated for a moment, but reciprocated. Meiko, still as clueless as ever, slowly walked over to us.
ごめんな。
I'm sorry.
お姉ちゃんに隠れて
Hide
な。
behind Chiemi.
ヤキさん
Haruaki-san, what is this? So Haru was helping them.
わからん。
I don't know. I really didn't, but I had a feeling that something wasn't quite right for a while now, and I suspected it'd be made clear now. I was certain of it, and it left me feeling uneasy, because yeah, the votes would be tied. It's 3 wolf supporter versus 3 humans. Okay, you have the initiative here. Wanna explain? Taiba, you do it. Fine, fine. I've been relying on you too much all this time. So she wasn't even denying it. Not me? This is something I never told ya. A long time ago, when I was still a girl, Kami Fujiyoshi's people got drunk and revealed the truth behind the feast of the Yomi Purge. The truth? Tai Yamawaki told us a story that was very similar to the legend they told in this strange village. Well, it was less like it was similar, and more like I was looking at it from the opposite angle. The part about Great Lord Shinai sending the 5 guardians to help people was the same. 4 of them teamed up with the humans to murder the wolves. However, in the real story, the good and bad sides were completely reversed. Apparently, the people in the 4 guardians joined Yomi on the very first feast of the Yomi Purge. Basically, all of them were Yomibito. They all ganged up on, overpowered, and expulsed the wolves who tried to resist until the very end. That meant this land had belonged to the Yomibito for a long, long time. The wolves were summoned here by none other than Shinai-sama himself. That seems sus. Some people of Yasumizu were given the blessing of the wolves and had to free Yasumizu of its Yomibito. Basically, it was a holy war for them. And that was the truth behind the Feast of the Yomi Purge. They're freaking crazy. At first, we thought the people of Kami Fujiyoshi just made it up to make fun of us. But we found out it was true when we became blessed by Shinai-sama himself. So, you see, Chicha, that's why we had to slay everyone. Cool! Now there's just a village of 2 people. It hurt a lot, though. Takumi suffered greatly, too. They're crazy! Alright, so she was now a confirmed culprit who believed the murders to be salvation. There were just 2 more points I didn't understand. The corruption. And the eerie message. Most things made sense if you switched Shinai-sama's enemies and allies. The idea that people wearing those outfits could be the good guys was kind of weird, but well, that was the culture here. Or maybe only the Yomibito, me too, saw them as evil? Maybe that was the story here. The problem here was that I didn't know that. Chami didn't know this. I only found out when I was blessed, so even Yasunaga-kun didn't know about it. I remembered some of his words. So it's a lie to begin with. Someone just told them it was for the greater good or something. You dumb children. He really hated lies, didn't he? He basically told me the truth of things. This feast actually had a system that made zealous murderers of people. Whatever, enough about Yasunaga Oribe. Then why did Haru-chan know? She was glad when she realized Yasunaga was a wolf. Basically, she already knew the real story. Why? Who told her? The Okami-sama told me? They showed up in my dreams on the day Oji-chan died and told me about it. Nonsense? Hi, Velmo! Insanity! Did she seriously decide to throw her life away over a dream? But on the day Oji-chan died, he died the night before Haru-chan tried to run away from the settlement. She believed the dream. She started to despair over being surrounded by Yomibito and planned to escape. That made sense. But I did think that Taeba would know the real story. There was no way she couldn't. But she didn't say it, so I thought that maybe she was a wolf. And I began to think the same about Ni-chan when we talked. It all clicked. She believed the sudden revelation, despite a lack of proof, and that the man she liked was in the minority that had justice on their side. And right now, she said she would betray the humans and join the wolves. She believed Yasunaga Oribe was right with all her heart. And so, the wolf, Yasunaga Oribe, had 3 votes for the feast. I can't be killed, even if Chiene and Meiko both vote for me. Even if you bend the rules and count Fusuishi-san's vote, it'd still just be 3. You couldn't choose one, even if we did a final vote. And now, without either wolf dying, we win. It was easy. I saw it clearly now. I understood. Is he? Yeah. Yasunaga-kun is right. You. No. We lose. Everyone had different reactions to my words. Chami backed away and gasped. Tae closed her eyes and sighed. Meiko didn't seem to understand anything. Yasunaga didn't react at all. Haru was smiling. What a fucked up girl! Oh man. All I really had left was struggling like the filthy, annoying adult I was. What? What will happen to Fusuishi-san? Obviously they're all gonna die. Hello, idiot. I'll ignore him if he doesn't interfere. I see. Was that relief just now? Huh. Sorry, but I couldn't enjoy my sudden jump in popularity. We don't have to slay him?
必要なら新内様がどうにかする。
Shinai-sama will do something if need be. That dispassionate tone didn't do much to convince me. He truly believed this ridiculous superstition.
でも黙ってはいないのでしょ、
But
あなたは。
you won't ignore this, will you?
さあ
Who
ね。
knows? Honestly, if you're the good guys, I don't know if I should help.
読み人が思ったより薄情なんですね。
You're crueler than I thought.
都会人の合理性とでも
We
思ってくれ
city
れば
folk value a well-reasoned argument.
見損なったとは言いませんよ。
I want to say I misjudged you. It's the right decision. Very right, in fact. Big words.
ちょっとそんなのないでしょ。あなたあれだけ JNA のことが好きとか言っておいて見捨てるの？
What do you care? Good point. Well, yeah, I was pretty damn cold-blooded.
痛いところを突かれるばかりでも不愉快だから。
I'm not too fond of being hit where it hurts, so I guess I'll respond. Haru-chan?
何を？
What?
分かってると思うけど。
You know you're gonna die, right?
それでいいんだよな。
You're okay with that? This was pretty damn bad, honestly. Apparently, this great Lord Shinai was a huge scumbag. He should have told her that much.
君に聖典を教えたところで、君が人側であることに変わりはない。
Even if you've been told the real story, you're still a human.
君は狼になったわけではないだろう。
You haven't become a wolf, have you? You did kill Takumi-san or Nosato-san, right?
殺してないけど。
I didn't. I don't know why, but you're just a human who knows the real story. That's why the human's defeat will mean your death. You said you thought Yasunaga-kun might have been a wolf when you talked together, right? I don't think he would ever let anything like that slip, so he probably realized your role for the way you were acting. He was probably trying to lead you by showing hints, but not revealing his identity in order to test whether you join him. Excuse me. The wolves probably knew there was a human who had that role. What of it? He actually said that? This was the part where he was supposed to start lying. By not denying that, you basically admitted that you were an absolute scumbag who used Haru-chan knowing you'd have to kill her. He was that bad at lying? Then how did he survive so long? Wait. Something was very wrong. I'd seriously misunderstood something here. And soon enough, my hunch was proven right.
本当。それが何だってのかしらね。
Haru-chan? A carefree smile, laced with seductive intoxication.
読み人はくくられなきゃならない。
Yomibito need to be hung.
汚れた。
We're corrupt, filthy,
醜い
and disgusting.
狼様の渦と爪だけが救いなの。
Okie dokie! We can only be saved by the wolves' whirls and claws.
誰だってわかる。
Everyone knows that. That's why you finished off Kaori-san, right?
お母さんを
You wanted to make your mother happy. Alright. Who's been inhaling the crazy gas?
その通り。兄ちゃん、春も幸せにして。
Haru coquettishly leaned on him. Yasunaga brought her closer without even a flicker of emotion crossing his face. Tai watched them with a broad smile. What? What the hell? What were these people?
それで知恵ねどうする
So, Chienne, what will you do?
おとなしくするなら救って
Jesus Christ. This guy is messed up. I underestimated it. I underestimated the madness of Yasumizu. And I realized too late that the Feast of the Yomi Purge wasn't just a system where zealous murderers killed each other. There was something here that completely shattered the people on a fundamental level. It was like a gear of madness. Those who knew the real story found salvation in death. That insane tale instantly convinced people that it was right to agree and to find peace in that. And I was actually surrounded by those very people. Understanding that made me remember that she was from here too. Chiemi was trying to take a step forward. I should have realized this earlier. She, who was afraid of God, was just like them who accepted their salvation. Both brands of madness probably had roots in the exact same thing, so she was just as susceptible to madness as they were. However, it wasn't too late for her. Yasunaga Oribe's expression stayed the same, but right before I looked away from him, I saw a slight change. It was bitterness, irritation. Something out of place on a victor's face that made me realize that his plan for this scene wasn't lost to madness. Then I had no choice but to take advantage of that opportunity. I grabbed Chiemi's hand. I pulled with so much force that she fell on her backside, but I didn't care. I dashed past her and swung my weapon. I hit Haru once, Tai twice, and Yasunaga 5 or 6 times. Then I ran to Chiemi and Meiko, who were completely dumbfounded and fled the hall. You're done with Lost Mile 7? Thank God for that. Hell yeah! We're good. We're at the end of this route, I believe. We just found out who the bad guys are, and we are ready for our freaking lives. There was no time to waste. I had to hurry up and escape. If I didn't, I'd waste the one chance he'd given me. Did a flash step? He literally just... I like how he didn't just go for one of them. He's like, I'm gonna smack all of you. I didn't take the rifle. Well, the rifle's not anywhere convenient for them, unfortunately. I don't know why they didn't take the rifle, though. Because, I mean, yeah, the rifle was out of bullets, but there's no way that a hunter only has 5 bullets. There's a box somewhere. And Chiemi has a hunting license, so she knows what she's doing. What's going on? Chiemi? What? Yasunaga-kun really has a good head on his shoulders, doesn't he? What are you talking about? My hand hurts, oh foe! I was probably irritated, and not just because of hunger. It was because of the epiphany I'd had, and because it had taken me so long to reach it. Yasunaga Oribe had a different motive. You have a crush on Chiemi, so you didn't want to hurt her if no one else. So you used what little reason you still had to conclude that the only way to save her was through escape. But letting someone escape would be subjecting everyone else to the corruption. So you had to have me beat up everyone and take her by force to avoid that. That's crazy. That's crazy leaps in logic here, boy. If he didn't intend to let me run away, he wouldn't have thrown away the sickle. He was basically signaling for me to understand and finally attack him. In the end, he was far more clever than me. I never stopped dancing to his tune. Regardless of, no, exactly. Because of that, I had to help these two escape, no matter what. So what, they're not gonna chase after us? After all, I'm an adult! By the way, using an adult without relying on one yourself was a very adult thing to do, Yasunaga Oribe. Good luck with the rest. Wait, hold on, that's a great line. By the way, using an adult without relying on one yourself was a very adult thing to do. Good luck with the rest of your life. You're gonna be a piece of work. We crossed the field pass, went past the stone graves, and over the boundary. Descending the cliff took a lot of patience. It didn't seem like they were chasing us, so we could go down carefully. Chiemi's expression was dead. She'd been hit hard by a sudden revelation. The game board had been flipped on her. She'd lost, and now she had to suddenly say goodbye to her old friends. It was hard to just laugh that off. Should I have told her about Yasunaga-kun's intentions? I did consider it, but couldn't bring myself to. He chose to save her by sacrificing their relationship. If she knew, she'd probably want to go back to the settlement. Or maybe I just did want to say it because of my pride. Ah, that damn masculine pride. Gets in the way of everything. That was fine by me too. Being able to shrug off such unfairness was one of the blessings of adulthood. So I consoled Chiemi, shouted to Meiko to be more careful, and generally talked as much as I could. The mist grew even denser. Hey, Chiemi? Yeah? I think we're already outside the village. Maybe. We did it! And look! Nothing happened! We did it? Yeah! Now let's cross the river and return to town. Where's the river? I couldn't see anything. I hadn't just lost my bearings, it was worse than that. I could have even seen Chiemi or Meiko's faces, and I was actually holding their hands. We were already at the bottom of the cliff, walking on the stones below. We heard water, so it was clear we were close to the river. But I didn't know if we could keep going right now. Let's rest. We can't. Chiemi? I thought she was gonna freak out again, but... No, that's not it. She stopped me. Don't you hear it? Ignore the water. Confused, I strained my ears. What am I supposed to hear? Oh, fuck! They're coming after us. They were acting strange. I strained my ears again. Was it above us? I could hear the faint sound of rustling leaves from the top of the cliff. We gotta run! I'm tired! Haruaki, take Meiko Miko-chan! The intensity in Chiami's voice made me take the situation seriously. What if the sound was just the wind, though? Was she jumping at shadows? But I would have been lying if I said I wasn't worried. After all, a question remained unanswered, and according to the legend, this was their HQ. Wait. They were good guys, right? Still, this wasn't a normal place. I had to get out of here ASAP. I nearly said ASAP. What? I can't read ASAP anymore. After a while, I was forced to recognize the anomaly. We couldn't reach the river. I ran along the riverbed. It should have been small, just a few meters wide. But even after 10 minutes of running, there was no sight of the river. We couldn't get anywhere. It was just like Rain Wander Run? A phenomenon where people wandering snowy peaks lose their sense of direction and just end up walking in circles. However, even if my sight was limited, how could anyone get lost in such a small riverbed? I could hear the stream right next to me. This felt so wrong. I was as good as blind. All I could trust were my ears. But that just made me realize how useless that was to rely on. I trusted my sense of direction less with every passing second. So, the sounds of parting grass in the distance. The sound of claws stepping on the rocks. It felt like they were getting closer. I couldn't be certain. Eventually, we slowed down. The others didn't say anything, but they were clearly exhausted. We hadn't eaten for days, not to mention the dense mist made our clothes all uncomfortably damp and cold. We walked along the riverbed without uttering a single word. The sound of water was getting closer, but something else sure was. Something. Things I didn't know scared me. The chill and the fear strangled me like a garrote as I carried Mako, passed out from exhaustion on my back. How long has it been like this? Suddenly, the hand I was dragging became heavier. Chiami had stopped. She called my name through the mist.
何かな?
Oh, don't look back! Don't look back! It's the story, one of the creation myths in Japan involves Izanami and Izanagi. Izanagi went to Yomi to get his wife back. And they were like, okay, you can take her, but don't look back. No matter what you do, don't look back until you're all the way out. And because he did, he found out that she was like half rotten and dead or something. And there's a few different variations about what happened. One that he abandoned her, the other that like she was snatched away from him kind of thing. But either way, that's what this is reminding me of. That's why I'm like, don't look back! What? I tried to sound lighthearted, but I wasn't confident I'd pulled it off. We're done for. Her voice suggested the image of a grim smile.
何を言ってんだ?
What are you saying? Unlike before, I couldn't manage the defiant tone I'd used whenever she said something stupid. It was true that something unnatural was happening, and that there was no simple explanation. And Chiami was wearing down, both physically and emotionally.
ちょっと休もう。それで進めば
Let's rest a bit. We'll get through this if we just go a bit farther. Don't worry. No, it's impossible.
どうして?
Why? I think You can't get past this river as long as I'm with you. What? That was like...
だって言ってたじゃん。
You heard what they said.
読み人は
We're the
私たちの
Yomibito.
だから
So...
だから彼岸を渡れないとでも言う
So you're
つもりか
not worthy of crossing or something?
だって
I mean...
だって私小さい頃からずっと休みずの
I
ものを
mean,
食べてき
I've
て
been eating Yasumizu's food since I was a little girl, but you went to university in another city. You've left before.
それに
And I...
私は汚れてるから
I'm corrupted.
ちえみ
Don't look at me! Wow, she actually is corrupted. Look at her. She's like covered in blood or something. I turned around and pulled her by the arm. I looked at her face from point blank range. It was covered in brown and yellow blisters. Before I could even be surprised or disgusted, I just kissed her. The sugary taste of blood, pus, and rust filled my mouth. Ew. Sugary? Sugar? Really? Then, to discard all unnecessary emotions, I hugged her as hard as I could. My breathing and thoughts ceased. I kept it up until the pain began to fade, then disappeared completely. Eventually, our lips were separated again. She prioritized words over breaths.
ごめんなさいごめんなさい本当
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Even so, I hugged her tight. I couldn't lose to something so ridiculous. She weakly hugged me back, but she couldn't keep it up for long.
行こ
Let's go.
だから
I'm telling you the...
う
Let's
行こ
go. The presence in the distance was definitely closing in. We walked. I felt like I'd been walking for several hours now. Our pursuers were close now, but I had no intention of rushing. Chami was slowly but surely getting weaker by the second. Her speed slackened with each step, and the weight on my arm was becoming heavier. I could hear her cough and vomit something out. She apologized every time she did, and I basically replied with "it's alright," using different words each time. We walked. Chami's feet began to make wet sounds with every step. We walked. Maybe we'd actually been here for only a few minutes. We walked. Chemi kept apologizing. Maybe we haven't even moved a single meter. We walked. I mean, that would make sense considering the fact she's silently covered in like blisters and stuff like that. We know she left before, so... Maybe none of this was real. Then, maybe nothing that happened here would be weird. Eventually, Chemi called out to me with a hoarse voice.
春秋さん
The fact that she said something different had sparked a moment of baseless hope. And so,
ありがとう
her gratitude was followed by another wet sound.
楽しかった
I had fun. With those final words, her weight vanished. It was strange. After all, I was still holding... Oh God! I was still holding her hand. Or rather, only her hand. With a splash, her bodily fluids spread around while her limbs and entrails just collapsed. Chemi was gone, leaving behind only her rotting hand. Perhaps her remains were piling up in the mist ahead. I had a strange certainty I couldn't touch it ever again. Was this what they called a Yomibito? I couldn't accept this, no matter what.
私の何でもいいからどこか一部だけでも
I don't care what.
外に
Take a part of me outside. And so he took her hand. How romantic. I put the hand in my jacket pocket. You know what? It actually is sort of romantic. It comes full circle. Because she took him by the hand and pulled him up onto the rock so that he could come into the village. And now he's taking her hand out. I took Meiko, still sleeping, and shifted my grip to make carrying her easier. I continued walking for too long. Meiko woke up. She was shocked that Chiemi was gone and cried for a bit. But then she said she wanted to walk by herself, so I put her down on the ground. The very next moment, she was dragged into the mist. It was clearly a malicious force that did that. To me, it looked like a furry arm. A scream resounded. It was an inhuman, animalistic scream. After hesitating for a moment, I turned to run and caught a glimpse of something beastly within the mist Meiko had disappeared into. I ran and ran. Suddenly, I felt myself step into something wet. I had arrived at the river. It was meaningless. I'd lost everything. And in the end, only I survived.
私の何でもいいからどこか一部だけでも
Was there any meaning in fulfilling that promise? No. The meaning was for me to find. That was why I had to survive and find a forest. Yeah, I still had that hope back then. Oh! They finally broke through the mist and showed themselves. Oh, of course. This really was hell, wasn't it? This wasn't the human realm or nirvana. It was a river of hell, so of course, both sides of it were gonna be hell. There was no splash when we threw Takumi-san's body in, was there? The moment we went into the mist and down the cliff, our bodies vanished from the world and reached a place from which there was no return. And I finally had no choice but to accept it. As someone who had taken in the flesh and blood of a Yomibito, Chiemi, I couldn't escape either. Oh, you shouldn't have swallowed the blood. The kiss of death was quite real in this case. That was why I screamed stupidly, only managing to run a few steps before their claws tore me apart. Ow. Damn it. Where had I gone wrong? Descending into Saranaga? Not believing Chiemi when she told me we couldn't escape? No, I went back even earlier than that. I already knew the answer. Oh, shit. I really wish I'd been part of Yasumizu and participated in the feast. Maybe I could have gotten a different ending than this. That was the last thought that went through my mind before all faded away. Yo! Raging Lupu. That is some interesting romanization. Yay! And a first route. Let's go! Vocals Chiemi Serizawa. She sings the ending? What? They're lucky it has multiple roots. It does. Technically, we're not supposed to do videos past chapter 4, but that just means I won't leave the VODs behind. Prepare yourself for the next feast. Ooh, I like that. Literally, there was literally been no one else streaming in this category. I think we're safe. I think we're safe. That was pretty good, right? Oh, obtained key 4, sink into nirvana. The route unlocked by this key is represented. Yeah. We know that. Moonbeams aren't snitches. Exactly. Watch hint corner? Nah, we're good. The sheep isn't as funny as Nickel Arc. And all the way back here. So, let's see here. Hang on. Where's the keys? Keys, there we go. Werewolf and Resurrection. So sink into Nirvana. Okay, so that was the right place. Damn, we technically go all the way back to Sunday? And then we pick option 4. Damn. Having some interesting flashbacks, huh? Adding some extra layers. Suddenly a rush of memories flitted into my mind. And there we go. Remember incident. Okay, yeah, this is technically where we're supposed to stop, so I will just take an axe to the VOD at this point. We'll just go a little bit. Just a little bit. It's almost 10:30 anyway, so I'll have to stop anyway. And then, we won't play Raging Loop again this week since I'm playing it fast and loose with my schedule. Since I'm not going to be keeping the VODs, I want to make sure anyone who wants to keep up with the story knows when they have to come. Right, how did I forget? I'd already experienced this looping phenomenon or whatever. Hold on, looping? What the hell? I'm breaking bedtime. Gasp! There was no way something like that could. But if that wasn't it, what else could explain this? How else could I, someone who died once, be alive right now? Technically, you've died twice. Technically, you've died at least twice. I had clear memories of getting caught up in some strange incident at Yasumizu and, shit, I couldn't remember how it ended. It was like the last time, too. My memories were all fragmented. But I did remember that I went to Yasumizu, met the people there, and died. Had I come back here when or because I died? That was a ridiculous idea, but the pain and fear I felt back then was just so vivid and fresh in my mind that I couldn't simply dismiss it as just a dream or illusion. There was no point in lying to myself. I was here, having experienced something that made me sure I'd died. It was an incomplete memory from the future. I had no idea why I had it, but I definitely did. I had to come to terms with it first and foremost. The gas tank wasn't empty, but my phone couldn't find a signal. I was running out of battery. And my throat was a bit dry, exactly like last time. That meant that I was about to arrive at... Ayo! Knew it. It's Fresh Marquet! I really didn't want to meet that employee again, but from what I'd experienced, she was the only one I'd met before going to Fujiyoshi, so avoiding her probably wasn't a great idea. Her attitude was shit, but at least she always did what I asked. Though I really didn't want to drive down that unpaved road again. Once again, she greeted her customer in a borderline insane way. It actually made me kind of relieved. And I wanted to believe that was just some trick of the mind. It was just like before. To her, I was just an annoying late-night customer. Oh well, I just buy what I wanted. I'll take these. Huh? Why are you getting so much crap? No reason. Yasumizu was just desperately poor and it had me worried. What was her problem? I was the customer. With this much stuff, she had to use the register. Still grumbling, she started scanning the barcodes. When she was done, I paid and asked, I want to get to the nearest settlement. Do you have a map I could look at? Huh? No, we don't. Please, I need it. Just wait. She went through the staff door. Found it. I knew it. This here's the store. Go to the north of the crossroads. Mm-hmm. You'll find an overpass. Cross it. When you come to a fork next to a giant boulder, turn right and head straight. But that's just a forest, isn't it? I knew that it was. There wasn't even a paved road there. Why'd she recommend the road anyway? If I'd crashed and died, it'd be homicide by negligence. There's a settlement. It's just not on the map. That wasn't a lie. It wasn't weird for Yasumizu to not be on the map. It was a nearly abandoned settlement in the middle of nowhere. Why did she know about it? Did she live in Kami Fujiyoshi or something? That sounds like it'd be bad for my bike. What about this place? Fujiyoshi? It's a 2-hour drive through a shitty mountain path. Can I write that down? Sure. Where's the other closest town? Past 2 mountains. Man, I couldn't make any sense of the local distance measurements. I don't recommend going wild around these parts at night. Oh, actual consideration. Oh no! Ba 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 ba. Don't worry, I noticed. It's been like dipping a little bit in and out all day today. I was expecting it. Ah. We're back. We're back. Don't worry. The copyright hitman didn't get me. We're fine. Oh, actual consideration. Though it was hard to be grateful, she was the one who pointed me in the direction of that shitty road in the first place.
引き返すのも勇気ってやつじゃねえの?
Turning back takes courage, too. Turning back, huh?
まあ、考えますよ。
Yeah, I'll think about it. Thank you.
毎度。
Thanks for coming or whatever.
あ、そうだ。この辺でローカルな飲み物とかってないです？
Oh,
陳列棚には
by the way,
特には
got
な
any
さそうでしたけ
interesting
ど。
local drinks? I did see any in the drink aisle.
いや、そこにねえもん。
Well, then we don't have any.
もしかしたらバックヤードにあるかもしれないなと思って。
I just thought you might have something in the back.
あるわけねえ。
Like hell we would.
まあまあ、一応見るだけでも。
Could you at least check?
待ってろ。
Oh, just wait.
あったわ。
Found it. Seriously. She brought me a 500cc bottle with a black liquid inside. Oh no. The label looked written and by hand and said wild plant cola. Don't drink it. Bro. I expected nothing and got something huge. This place was amazing.
すみません。荷物だいぶ多くなっちゃったんで、荷台にくくるゴムロープみたいなのないですか？
Oh, sorry, but I've got quite a lot of stuff. Do you have a rope? This ain't a hardware store.
見てくれるだけでいいんで。
I could be happy if you just looked.
待ってろ。
Oh, just wait.
あったわ。
Found it. Seriously.
せっかくなんで、このメモにあるその他ちょっとしたものたちを。
Well, since we've come this far, I have a list here. Bro is pushing his luck.
いい加減にしろよ、てめえ殺す。
What the hell? You got a death wish or something?
ついに殺すって言った？
Are you saying you'd kill me?
一応で構いませ
Please,
んが
I just want you to have a look.
待ってろ。
Wait.
あざーす。
Thanks. Oh my god.
全部あったわ。
We had it all.
なんなんだこのコンビニ。
What the hell is this place? That sound. Oh my god. I thought she threw him through the window. I don't think he likes her very much. I think he was pushing her buttons. Then I just made a run for it. I opened up the wild plant cola. Looking up at the noisy light trap above, I took a sip. It was cool, intense, and had a strange grassy flavor. But wasn't too bad at all. I expected something totally gross, but it was actually a legit drink. Slightly disappointed, I looked at the ingredients. Cola in plant extract. Hold on, cola? Did they just buy cola and mix it in? And plant extract could be anything from fruits to poisonous plants. What the hell? Was this even safe to drink? It has a handwritten label! What made you think it would be safe? Well, at least it tasted good. He is straight up become sober. He's like, whatever. If it's dangerous, I'll just loop back. It was probably smart to just turn around and drive away. Entering Fujiyoshi means death. Turn back. Perhaps that's what the loops were trying to tell me? Maybe I ought to listen? But was it really that easy? I had no real grounds for this, but if the cause of this strange phenomenon was somewhere in the village, Perhaps I couldn't break out of the loop until I solved the mystery behind it. Yeah, that seems about right. That seems very anime. What would happen if I left then? Would I go on and live out the rest of my days only to die and come back here? Woo! Reboot! Would I return to youth after years of being old? That part didn't sound half bad, actually. Was it really something I could just accept so easily? This was just speculation. But what if I actually hadn't moved an inch from that mountain pass? Was everything from then, now, and until death just an anti-mortem fever dream, and dying again would just bring me back there? If that was how it was, everything I do with my life from this point onward would be meaningless. Maybe I really should move on only after taking care of whatever was binding me. Hi, Yard! Also, how could I leave something so strange, unnatural, and incomprehensible and just return to the city? Was not expecting another choice here. Okay. Hear me out. I think we go with 3. Enter Fujiyoshi through the normal route. Because that's what the journalists did. And they weren't treated as outsiders. So if we go through Fujiyoshi, I think we have our in. So let's try. As I finished my drink, I made my decision. I'd return there. I'd face that tragedy again. Of course, I was curious about this looping phenomenon. But I did recall what I thought during my final moments. It was something like if only I'd handled this better. And for better or worse, this weird looping phenomenon had given me a chance to do just that. If I went about it all a bit better, perhaps I could get a better ending. Hisako Mamiya, Yudai Hashimoto, Kanzo Makishima, Yoshitsugu Oribe, Takumi Muro, the old man who cried wolf, Chikamochi Kamoshida, Rikako Uematsu, Kaori Oribe, Kiyonosuke Nosato, Meiko. Hell, even Yasunaga Oribe, Tai Yamawaki, and Haru Makishima were just some victims of some strange superstition. But I, Haruaki Fusaishi, could not delude myself. I was no hero. I had no powers, no conviction. I was just a dilettante? Dilettante? My only motivation here was a sense of perfectionism. I was annoyed at how many mistakes I'd made the first time around. Oh, okay. It's not about Chiemi. It's not about saving this girl you fell in love with. It's like, I really fucked that up. I'm going for a 100 score. Plus, there was a certain attraction I felt towards the unknown. It was an urge foundational to my being. And I'd be risking my life on its behalf. I wasn't about to pretend I was acting for the sake of others here. Although, Chiemi Serizawa, though she hated her childhood home, it remained part of who she was, and I want to keep that from being tarnished with blood. The motive was perverse, forceful, selfish, lustful, and filthy. And I couldn't let myself forget any of that. Well, at least he's honest, you know? I remembered the names of those I'd met and what I had to do. I turned the key, opened the throttle, pushed the signal to the left, and connected the clutch. Away I went, starting with a right turn.
しばらくしたら立教があっから渡れ。最初の分岐のとこに大岩があっからそこを右折して
I quickly came across it. I could clearly remember this overpass. The large boulder wasn't new to me either. But I wouldn't take that route this time. I just kept on driving, not lowering my speed for a moment. Full speed ahead. I drove on the winding mountain path. Strangely enough, my fatigue, though present, wasn't too bad, and my head was perfectly clear. I knew which route to take without even looking at my copy of the map. Or maybe I'd driven through here before? Perhaps this wasn't the first choice I'd made, but one of many. I couldn't be sure, and since my memories were so incomplete, nothing was certain. Still, they'd be an asset in the fight ahead. I wasn't going into this unarmed. I could no longer see the moon. If those memories held true, the rain would begin soon. Oh yes, this is where we're supposed to stop, because the sheep's like, yo, this is where you're supposed to stop. Like, cut the videos. Alright, it's 10:30 anyway, and I was looking for a good place to stop, so we'll stop here, and we'll come back another day and just we'll leave evidence. Exactly 10:32, right? Such perfect timing. Thank you, sheep. You're so cool, sheep. End of the line? You know what I mean, right? You set the upload streaming limit alert message to on, didn't you? This is it! Meaning you can only upload videos reaching up to this chapter. Well, you can actually go to the choice that pops up after this, so prepare your goodbyes and stuff. I guess it really is end of the line, right? Alright, we'll leave that here then. I'll be lurking in the shadows waiting for more, yeah. We'll probably do some Danganronpa for the rest of the week. I've basically committed to my brain rot right now, which is fine. That's the way to go about it, right? As much as I love long RPGs, it's nice to have some stuff that finishes more quickly all the same. Gives a sense of accomplishment, you know? I saved, right? Yes, I did. I mean, when there's a chart like this, it's not so bad. But there we go. Now we have one final VOD before, you know, things get thrown into the abyss. I record everything locally on my side, so I mean, maybe at the end I'll do some like crazy summary compilation video. That could be fun. Oh, you've got a headache. Yeah, you go rest. Go rest up then. I'm just gonna find us someone to raid into, and then I'll be heading off myself. Gotta go shower and get ready for bed and all of that crazy stuff. Oh! Junie is playing more FF6. That's perfect. Let's go! FF6 is always fun. God, I need to get back to 5. We were playing 5, but then we got distracted by all this other stuff, and every now and then I'm like, right, I was playing Final Fantasy 5. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I always finish everything, even if it takes me like a year. Alrighty. Oh, big stretch. That is gonna be it for me then. So I will see you guys tomorrow for the Danganronpa. God, chapter 5. We're almost done. We're almost done too. It's gonna be some long streams though. No, because we know we'll definitely need it on the last episode out for FF5. Oh god, yeah. I vaguely remember everything that's happened. My memory's decent. Enjoy the stream. Take care. Thank ya. Alright. So here's your raid message. And here's Discord. If we got any new lurkers who want to come along. For now, I'm gonna send you off to Junie for some FF6. And for now, that is gonna be it for me. So, if it's daytime where you are, have a wonderful rest of your day. And if it's nighttime, have a great rest when you head on off to bed. And until next time, take care of yourself. Wash your face. Brush your teeth. Eat good food. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye-bye.